Hey, welcome everyone. Welcome Zack Attack Nation. People that are not on part of the Zack Attack Nation, thank you for joining me live on this Saturday at 8 p.m. I know you're like, wait, wasn't this set for 7? That's my bad. We pushed it back, but if I got to change the time on YouTube. So I apologize for anybody that jumped in the stream. I see there's comments already here and people were waiting and I wasn't here yet. So I apologize about that, but we're here. We're about to have a lot of fun. This is a special movies that made us interview with my boy Screen Zen Reviews.
What's
How
up,
you doing,
y'all?
man?
How you doing?
Hey, I am doing great. How are you feeling today?
Feel great. I'm good that now that I'm here. This is great.
Yeah, I've been excited about this. We planned this from I think maybe last month, and I've been looking forward to this. This is actually our first one-on-one stream, which we were talking about before because everything else we've done in groups. So I'm
Right.
excited to just get in, shop it in, and do the thing. Oh, Dark Movies. Hey, what's up, man? Dark
What's up, Dark?
Movies. Appreciate you being here. If you join the live stream, just drop in the chat, say what's up, how you doing, and this is also for you guys. You can ask Jason questions and concerns if you feel like he picked something weird. This is a little bit of different of movies that made us. I'm kind of condensing it just a tiny bit because before it was like every single movie that they love. Now everyone has 18 picks, maybe one honorable mention that they can pick that's going to spread throughout their lifetime that really affected us. I'm really excited to see his choices because, like me and Jason don't disagree often, but I feel like we like things for different reasons.
Right.
So I'm
Right.
interested to see. And I saw some things on his list. I'm like, I don't even know what that is. So I'm really excited for
Oh,
him to
cool.
introduce me to things as well, and for me to figure out what kind of person he is. Because that's what I do. I'm trying to figure out what kind of person each person I bring on here is after we talk about all these movies. So with the little ticket here, make sure you subscribe to Screen Gen. His link is in the description. It's on this video. It's everywhere on here. So go check him out. He's on the road to, what is it, 400 or 300?
So 250 right now.
250. On the road to 250. We
Right.
definitely can get him here. He's awesome. His editing is really great. His the way he puts his reviews together and they flow together really great. So definitely check him out. And I'll have that going under there so you guys can remember what his name is.
Hmm.
So, hey, have you seen with T? What's up? Thank you for joining the live
What's up,
stream.
man?
So the way this is going to work, we're going to start with his adolescence, his childhood. So we'll say that's what, like 5 to 10, 5
Yep.
to 8. Then we're going to get into teenage years. And then we're going to get to adult to now. And he's going to have 6, maybe 7 movies in each part that really mean to him a lot and that has influenced his taste in cinema and his life in general. So start with your first movie, man.
All right. So starting in the childhood era, guys. This
Mm-hmm.
was extremely hard, by the way, y'all. I was just telling Zach not a moment ago that the way my life is, the way I was raised, there's a lot of movies I could have picked, but I had to shave it down. The first one was Tall Tale, and this is a Disney film, and it stars Patrick Swayze and a few other people. The names escape me, but Tall Tale is pretty much uh, a movie based on those tall tale stories or books, and I'm not sure who
Ooh,
was able
hold
to.
up. I messed this up.
There we go.
I'm trying to show
Oh,
the
the
thing.
thing, and yeah.
Yeah,
Wait,
technical difficulties, guys.
hold on.
There we
There we
go.
go.
We're
There
both
we
on
go.
the
There we go.
screen now.
Yes,
Tall
Oliver
tale.
Platt. That's the name I was actually trying to get. Patrick
Oh wait,
Swayze
there's a lot of tall
plays.
tale movies.
Yeah.
Is
So
it this one?
so that is it. As a matter of fact, I think that's the only one. Oh,
Yeah.
Tall
Oh, okay.
Tales.
So
I see the
all
other one.
these.
I see them. Yep. But
You're right.
did not
Yeah.
watch that. But the
Okay.
Tall
What's this about?
Tales.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, so pretty much when I was in elementary school, they read us tall tale books and we had them in the library. These are like short stories that's almost like Greek mythology, but they're
Mm,
American Greek mythology, if that makes sense. So instead
okay.
of Zeus, fighting on the mountain and making Olympus or whatever, you have like Pecos Bill was uh, he's a cowboy, so he was like whipping his lasso so hard he made a tornado, and it ran through half of Texas, or things like that, like things that wouldn't happen. But John Henry, oh man, have you seen with T? I'm glad you're here, because John Henry, um, and his hammer. That's the story that most people kind of know, but that's like a tall tale. An American person who's like superhuman in a way. You know what I mean? Making things happen. Um, and Right. So the movie pretty much takes those stories and kind of puts them all into one. And it's really about a kid named Daniel that you see holding the shake in this picture. He is getting his land taken away from him. Some evil guys are trying to take the land and put a railroad through it, right? So he takes the deed, and they need that deed to get through the valley. He falls asleep on the boat, and that's when he starts his journey, meeting first Pecos Bill, then John Henry, and then I forgot his name. What's the guy in the forest with the blue ox? Paul Bunyan. Okay.
Mhm.
So so yeah. So I remember that early on in my childhood. And the thing that made it for me was that I had read the books, or it was read to me in school. So when the movie came out, I knew who everyone was, and I just wanted to see what they wanted to do with it. Yep.
Oh, I messed it up again. Sorry, guys.
Yep.
I'm so silly. There we go. I'm like, these are the two that I need to touch. Okay, we're good for the rest of the stream, hopefully.
Nice.
Let's see. Paul Bunyan.
Paul, thank you. Yes, Paul Bunyan. So Paul Bunyan, his story is like, hey, spoiler king, so glad you can listen to my story.
Yeah.
Um, but Paul Bunyan, it was like they would say, like, oh, one swing of his axe took down an entire forest. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. And blue, the reason why his ox is blue is because the ox got frozen during the ice age or something like that. I don't really know the story, but then when it thawed out, he was completely blue, and he stayed like that. So it's like tall tales is what they're called.
Mm,
Yeah.
gotcha. And what was what did this movie lead you to, or how did it influence you in a way where like this is the one you picked for your childhood?
Right. So I think that with this, it opened up to storytelling and understanding
Mm,
the stories that are told, and this one in an imaginative way. So it's just a different take on just reading a story from beginning, middle, and end. It's like these people are legends in these stories. You know what I mean? It was like almost my first superheroes um,
mm.
that I remember. Yeah.
And what's interesting fact that you said a guy with the hammer, that character, he's been referenced in media forever.
Right, John Henry.
But
Yeah.
Jan Henry, but he's also inspired a DC hero, John Henry Irons, Steel.
Steel. Right, that's right.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, and
So
it's funny because when I saw that movie later on, I was like, "Oh, John Henry. Okay, they're taken from the tall tale." Right, exactly. So
mm,
it's like all these little connections were happening with that movie. But I also, it's funny. Steel gets a lot of hate.
it does.
Steel gets a lot of hate, but it's a campy superhero movie that I
Yep.
enjoy. I mean, I just enjoy watching it. It's not
Me
it's
too.
not good by any stretch, but it's like one of those comfort films. It's like Shaq.
Yep.
Listen, man, whatever you want to say about Shaq's acting, he did Shazam, which I fell in love with, and so he was there, even though a little part of my childhood. So
Yeah. I 100% agree. Steel is my hit. Yes. It's one of those movies that's
Steel
bad,
is dope.
but it's dope.
Right,
And also for us, we don't get many black superheroes. Back then, it was Steel and Spawn. And Spawn is a
right,
better movie, but
right,
it was slim pickings until we got Blade.
right.
And then
Exactly.
after
Right.
Blade,
Exactly.
it was even more slim pickings.
Yep.
So
Yep.
Steel is always in my heart. So I'm glad you brought that up.
It's funny you mentioned that because it's like talking about black superheroes. He was almost like the first Luke Cage
Yeah.
type, in his own
Yeah.
neighborhood. He wasn't saving the world or anything, but he was in his neighborhood trying to stop crime. Um, he just had all the obviously the hammer and then all his armor. It just looked so cool, man. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting. You could say it's a precursor to how Sony is doing all the Spider Verse stuff because Steel's origin is really tied to Superman a lot. That's why he has the
Mm,
S. That's why he has the red cape.
right.
He becomes Steel because Superman dies, kind of like how Miles Morales becomes Spider-Man
Mhm.
because Peter Parker dies. And they did this
Wow.
movie without any references to Superman.
See, and that's the
So
thing. Yeah, because what
yeah,
you're telling me now, this is the first time I'm hearing this.
yeah, okay.
So I didn't even know Steel's true or yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, a lot of it. That's why I love the show Superman and Lois, because he's so ingrained in that show as he should. And they
Okay,
did like a little twist where they made him the villain at first, and then he became his buddy after. And
gotcha.
they really brought a lot of stuff from his comic in that show. So, and he's one of the few cool black characters that's been consistent,
Right,
like hasn't
right.
dropped off. Hey, Collective Movie Man, what's up? Thank you for joining the live stream. We were just talking about Tall Tale. It led us to talk about Luke Cage and Steel and Shaq.
Yep. Hey,
and and that's
classic,
this
baby.
conversation. That's how it's gonna go. Okay, I have these 21 questions that you should ask every film lover. And since you're talking about film that you watched as a kid and influenced
Yep.
you, what are foods and things you ate while you were watching movies as a kid? What like was your thing?
Oh, snap. Daggone. All right. Um, just to let everyone know, it was like I was a what's called a latchkey kid. I don't know if
Okay,
anyone knows what that is.
no,
Well, so latchkey kids, when they so usually they usually have a parent who works. So they would always have like a latch on their belt with like the keys to the house or something like that.
gotcha.
So when I got off the bus, I would go home and my mother, who was at work, would, make lunch or whatever dinner before she got home so I could heat it up, whatever. But then
Yeah,
I had full reign of the house. And
man of the house.
yeah, so I was watching a lot of movies like over and over again, like my favorites. Um, but the foods that I was eating, it was it was like junk food, man. It was like Dunkaroos, freaking um you never had the latch on. He said he never had the latch on his belt. Bro, I looked like one of those goth kids with the long chain. Like I had the junk with a long chain on it. I had to
God,
go like don't don't
Gothic
don't
J.
don't don't don't. You know what I mean? But nah. It was just that. It was just that. It was just the chain. Um,
Oh shoot,
but I
that's
was eating
hilarious.
like freaking Stouffer's was the thing. You know what I mean? Just for like dinner, lunch. But it was like Dorito. It was like junk food, man. It was like whatever I could get my
Mhm.
hands on. If I'm being honest, yeah. Boom, boom. That's exactly what came in. Now I wasn't dressing like that. Let me make it very clear.
I just gotta
It
make
was just
sure because you said it. You was
nah,
like,
son.
I
It
look
was
like a
just that
goth kid.
chain. It was like everyone was like, "What you got that chain on?"
That's me right
But
here looking at you while you was doing the dance. Okay, let me see. I got it right. Ooh, okay.
there we go.
There we go. Okay. Let me see what these people saying in the chat. Collective Movie Man. I just got home from going to Red Lobster. Wow. My aunt gave me $100 in cash for my birthday. Oh, happy birthday,
Happy
man. Or happy
birthday.
belated birthday. And a
Yes. Wow.
$50 gift card to Kohl's. Okay. She out here spending the dough.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
and my uncle paid for my Red Lobster. Oh, wow. It's
That's
free
what's up.
ride.
Wow.
Okay. We
It's been a
saw
minute since
that.
I've been in Red Lobster.
Facts. As an only
As an
child,
only
was
child, I was like,
definitely the
"Oh, Ken was
latchkey
a
kid.
latchkey kid too." Shout out to my latchkey kids, man. We had to do it on our own.
You had the
The
custodian.
custodian kids.
That is hilarious.
I didn't even think
Okay.
about that. It was like people was like, "Yo, is he the son of the janitor? What's happening?"
You're
So the
just walking
keys
around
on
with
his
all the
belt.
keys. He's exactly. Let's lead into the next film. What's the next film that led after this?
Yeah. Wow. I'm gonna say that one because that one. Okay. The next one is uh Hercules,
I was waiting for
1995.
this one.
Hercules animation, Disney animation. And if y'all are wondering what, because pretty much as a child, I was a Disney kid, and it wasn't just because um it was even my favorite. It's like my mother, she used to work at RKO Video in the 90s, and
Mm.
she was a manager, so she could get whatever video she wanted. So she would bring home all the Disney stuff. I had it.
Mhm.
So that's why I told Tale and all these. But Hercules, I actually saw that in theaters, and it was one of the best experiences I ever had in a theater.
I
And
agree.
partially due to not only the animation, but the music in that movie, the gospel type music, beautiful, man. And it
Beautiful.
made sense. And so I really wanted to see this, one, because of, it was the new movie coming out, but two, it was dealing with Greek mythology, which
Mhm.
tied me back to Tall Tale, and then all the
Ah.
other Greek mythology. So I just had to see it. I had to see what this rendition was, and I was not disappointed. This is
For
one of
the
my
people
favorite
who don't know what he's talking about and uncultured,
movies.
um, he's talking about this Walt Disney animation classic, one of my favorite films of all time, and I'm really happy that he talked about this. Hercules. I love this movie so much. I heard that they're remaking it with a live
Yes,
action, and I'm very, very. This is the first live action I'm scared of because this is the one of the only Disney films I actually care about.
yeah. And they
This,
keep saying stuff about like TikTokifying it, and that scares me.
yeah,
I don't
I
know
heard
what
about
that
that.
even means. Like, what?
I don't know how, or was it 97 this came out? Yeah, okay.
When was this? 97? Okay, yep.
Yeah, this girl right here did
Meg.
things for me when I was a kid. Let's
Oh,
just
for
say that.
real? Oh,
Oh yeah,
okay.
I
There
was
you
just like, oh my god, she's so curvy.
go.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. As
Yeah,
a
I see,
kid,
I
I was
see,
like,
I
what's
see, I see
happening?
over
I was like, you Hercules, you, and then this guy, still a
Yeah,
meme to
yeah,
this
yeah.
day.
Wait, say again?
I said he's still a meme to this day.
Oh, yeah, for sure, for sure. Man.
What is your if you can remember your favorite quote from the film?
Dag. Favorite quote.
You're allowed to
Um,
Google if you want to.
let me see, let me see. Yeah, let me I have to Google this because a lot was said. Um,
While you do that, let me see what the chat's saying. Never heard of this before. Oh wow. Oh
wait,
yeah,
never heard
look,
of
you're
Hercules?
no latchkey
Oh,
kid.
oh, 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 thank
Yeah, I
you,
think that
Jesus.
might be an American thing. I think dark movies is in Norway, so that might not be a term that's crossed over to there.
Mm.
Hercules, the series with Kevin Sorbo. No, no, not that one. But I love that.
That wasn't bad, but I'm not talking about
No,
that one.
no,
Oh,
no, no.
oh, oh, wait. He was talking
Found
about
it?
Kevin Sorbo because I was watching
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah.
I was
That
watching
was
that too, and Xena.
Xena. Oh, yep.
Let's not talk about Xena. Oh,
That
y'all don't even
was
want to go back. Y'all don't even want to go back.
that's
Cleopatra
crazy.
2525. Y'all don't know nothing about that.
I've had it on my watch list for years. I think it still holds up, dark movies. You definitely should check it out.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, have you seen he says Screen Zen? Where are you from?
Jersey. So I was
Mm.
so I was actually born in South Carolina,
Oh,
and my mother, she was a correctional officer down there, right? So when I was born, she said, that's a little dangerous, right? So then we moved up here. Well, first to Montclair, New Jersey, but I'm still in Jersey. So yeah,
gotcha. So you're Jersey at heart.
yeah, for
Carolina
sure.
ain't really in your mind at all. I watched that movie way late. Hey, still good stuff, man. He said, "Oh no, TikToking it." Yeah. Jeez, he must be saying G's to the curves. Jason was born in combat. Well, as we know, he's a combat
He's
specialist.
trying to turn me into Texas Ranger. What's his name? What's his name?
Oh, Bass Reeves.
No, not well, that probably that too. Nah. What's his
Oh, Chuck
name?
Norris.
Chuck Norris. There we go. He's trying to turn me into a Chuck Norris meme.
Yo, after watching your stream with him or your video with him, like, yo, this man is the most interesting man in the world. You are Chuck Norris.
um, Wow.
So moving from South Carolina because it's dangerous to New Jersey. That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is? I think it was like her line of work. She was like, all right. And then she found employment up here. So
It wasn't the area. It
there I
was the
go.
line of work she was in.
Mm.
That was not for the curves, but that works too. So have you found your quote?
Yeah. I mean, let's hold on.
He's like, I gotta make sure. Can't fail this.
Yeah. Let me see. Shout out to IMDb for having all these quotes. Shout out to you.
They are very useful, IMDb.
I like the scene where Zeus is talking to Hercules because Hercules he goes to visit his temple.
And shout out to the doggos in your lap.
Yeah. Oh, guys, this is Boomer.
Boomer,
lovely dog, always begging for food and pets.
As he should.
Likes getting petted.
Like getting petted. All right.
Okay, so here's one. It's when Hercules and Meg are talking. Hercules says, "Aren't you a damsel in distress?" And Meg says, "I'm a damsel. I'm in distress. I can handle this. Have a nice day." So, but it talks to her character, like the tough, I can do it myself woman. And, right off the bat, that's our introduction to her.
That's funny because a line like that right now, if that movie released in 2023, 2024,
they'll be like,
oh my God. Whoa. God, girl boss.
We don't need no man.
He's literally a god.
Yo, the fact that people get up in arms about that stuff. Now, when it's pandering, that's like, we could talk about the Marvels all day. I'm not going to even bring it up. But like, when it's like pandering a little bit, that's obvious. But it was not like that back then. No. You know what I mean? It was like,
it was true. We saw her do it in the movie.
Right, exactly.
She was holding it down until she couldn't hold it down no more. She was facing gods and demons.
For sure.
I copy and paste synopsis for movie reviews right into my video description for IMDb directors and writers.
Man, you're a lifesaver. You're a time saver, IMDb.
So I do credit them though. Yeah, I usually get my descriptions straight from Google. Like I'll Google it, and then to the right, there's a description of the movie. Just copy and paste all the information from there.
Yep.
2023 people. Oh God, that's all I'm gonna say. Yeah.
2023, man, they came out the woodworks.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
So in terms of Hercules, right? What does this movie mean to you? So Tall Tales makes sense. It inspired your imagination. It introduces you to storytelling and then leads you to Hercules, which is about Greek mythology. Other than it being, the music and the beautiful animation and the story and the characters, did it do anything else for you in terms of like lead you to other animated stuff? Like, oh man, I need to sign more things like this. Or was it just something that you held on for a long time?
It's something that I held on just because of the subject matter of Greek mythology that I was into. It was like it really lent itself towards my interest at the time. And it's one of those things where, like, for instance, like Greek mythology, I heard something cool about it, like, Greek got like a story or something. And I literally read a book on not a whole book, but like flipped through a book on Greek mythology. And it was just one of those things that I was so interested in, just wanting to learn more. And I find that when that happens, whatever it is, I just kind of go hard in wanting to know, the origins. I was like, well, who's father and who's, I try to, get a handle on all of that. So I could understand the stories a little bit better, I guess. But this one, it really inspired me because it's a story of, Hercules was always strong, but it was always like he wasn't like everyone was hating on him a little bit. You know what I mean? And then he becomes this great thing. It was like the hero arc that I fell in love with.
The hero's journey.
The hero's journey, right? And I think this is the first film that I
Mm,
understood that he was literally a hero. You know what I mean? So it was easy
yeah,
for me to grasp that concept. So going into the future, whenever I saw that hero's journey, I was like, oh, that's this arc or XYZ. You know what I mean?
you can
Yeah.
reference it back to
I can reference
Hercules.
it exactly.
Oh, thank Jason. This is exactly what I love to do these videos about. That's amazing. Oh man, your first I can't even I don't think I can talk about like the first time I recognized the hero's journey arc.
Mm,
Like that's amazing that you can pinpoint that in one of my
yeah.
and maybe it
And
is
yeah.
Hercules. It might be Hercules for me too. And that might be why I love this movie so much and it's in my top 5 all time. Because I
Right.
love the hero's journey. When it's done well, nothing tops
Mhm.
hero's journey when it's
Right.
done well.
And I mean, because I've seen The Lion King too, but it has the same arc. But the thing about it
Yeah.
was, I don't think I recognized it. It was like literally 2 years before Hercules came out. But I don't think, for me, it was like, okay, he becomes king, gets revenge for his father. It was just a great story with the music and everything. I was just there. But this one, I was like, yeah, that's a hero's journey right there.
And you bring up Lion King, and it's also an influential movie. You didn't put it on the
Yes.
list right away, but
Right.
you told me something about it that I want you to share
Sure.
on here that why it holds a special place in your heart because of something that you try to do.
Yes. So I guess when I was, and guys, I'm talking about my mother a lot because she raised me. Okay. I was raised single parent household. But when I was watching these Disney movies, I would be singing, dancing, trying to be the character, whatever. Um, but I guess my mother, she saw that. And during the time, this is maybe a year after Lion King dropped in 1995, they were giving auditions for the Lion King, the Broadway show. So my mother, I guess, seeing, she thought maybe she had a Disney kid on her hands, right? I would have done the same thing. I'm not gonna lie. But she got me an audition for the Lion King on Broadway,
Mm,
and that was an experience in itself.
of course.
And here's the thing. She I don't remember her specifically telling me that I was auditioning for this. I just remember the night before or a couple of days before, like, because we had to, I guess, pick a song to sing. So we were going through like a songbook or something like that. And she was like trying to coach me. This is like what I remember.
Hmm.
Fast forward to that audition, guys. Oh man. Me, my mother, my Aunt Joan, we're driving into New York, the city, and I just remember like a huge line of people, like more than I've seen in my life, right? And there must have been like hundreds out there. I want to say thousand, but I'll say hundreds just for memory.
I'll believe you.
You know what I'm and this,
Yeah, of
because the movie was already a hit. So when people are hearing that the Broadway show's coming out, they want to be a part of that, right?
course.
So I'm probably in there with people who've been on mad auditions, probably was in other Broadway stuff or off Broadway or whatever little town thing they were doing with experience. Here I am, kid from Jersey who just likes to watch movies and eat Doritos, you know what I mean? Now I'm in that world a little bit. Um I remember sitting outside waiting to get in because they called you one in batches. So I think it was like a batches of 100 or maybe 50 at a time or whatever it was. I remember this. I'm gonna call her Russian just because of how she was
Mhm.
dressed, but I don't think she was from Russia.
Okay. The Russian.
She, I remember just sitting there waiting, and she kind of comes around, like sit next to me, and she starts like singing, like practicing her singing, and it was like opera. She was like, it was a little girl, right? Well, probably the same age I was, right? Little girl.
Yeah.
And I remember that. And I felt a little uneasy. It almost felt like she was trying to show off. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I'm like, why here? Why next to me? I'm just nervous about going in. I don't know what to expect. No one told me what to expect.
I don't even know
Anyway,
what's going on.
long story short, guys, I didn't get the part. If I did, you probably want to. I would probably would not be here.
Yeah, I know.
But
we wouldn't be doing this right now.
you know what I mean? But I remember going in, and first it was the look. So you had to pass the look test first.
Mm-hmm.
So me being black, this was an African thing I got in, right? So they changed they had like a little, you know how runners have those numbers?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they would give you one. So I think it was like, that's where I'm getting 1,000, because it was like 1 something 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 on my chest, right? That's where I'm getting 1,000 from. It must have been thousands out there. When after that, I got one that said 500. So that means I had beat out 500 or so whatever kids just from looks alone. And it was funny because I remember the Russian girl who was singing at me. She was walking away sad, crying. She didn't fit the look. She didn't fit the look. And I was like, oh, okay. Fast forward to the second part. This is where I got out. Okay. They kind of herd you to like a room, and it's like a big room with like one piano and this dude on the piano. So like we all sit down on the floor, and they call you in rows. So I was like in the middle. So when it got to my row, we all stood up, lined up in the front next to the piano. So we had to sing I Just Can't Wait to Be King. And he played it on the piano. So they went from kid to kid and was like just saying, you know, I just can't wait to be king. I knew the song from the movie, but I'm not a singer. So all the inflections and all the things, whatever, all I remember was I was nervous. And I think it was the part where it was like, everybody look left, everybody look right. That part, everybody, everywhere you look, I'm standing in the spotlight. I scream spotlight. And then they had me sit back down. That was pretty much the end of that. But just being there, that was crazy. And never seeing that before. I was a little sad afterwards. I cried a little bit. But then they took me to, if anyone's from the Bronx, Ride Playland. Back there. So he took me to Ride Playland. I forgot all about it. So, but that was a life experience I will never forget. I tell you, wow,
that is amazing. I'm so glad I asked you to share that, because that is crazy. That's so funny, because the singing girl probably could have got in and she fit the look.
You know what I mean? It wasn't till like I got into like high school, college, I was thinking about it. I was like, she wasn't black. Like that was the reason.
That's the reason.
You know what I mean? I was like,
affirmative action.
That's what it was. I mean, I mean, they know what they're looking for this Broadway. They want it to be African, XYZ, whatever. This is what it is.
I actually got to see that on that show, the Lion King show. It's amazing.
Oh, on Broadway?
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I have yet to see
my mom.
I've yet to see it, right? I know.
He's like, I can't.
But I mean, I do plan on, because I like going to Broadway. I took my kids to see Aladdin. We're every so often we go to Broadway, but the Lion King I want to take them to definitely.
Yeah, the way they do it is very cinematic. You said you mentioned Lion King. I'll be 100% honest. I do not think I've seen the Lion King. What? I know. Look, dark movies. There's tons of classic films I have not seen, so I will not judge you.
Right.
He said, at least I don't remember anything from it. He just seen small things and memes, which a lot of people know, like that's how they see older movies.
Exactly.
And Kenny Sparks is like, oh my God.
Let the man live. There's movies that I haven't seen. Come on, man. Yeah.
He says his son's favorite movie.
Son's favorite. Dope.
And this is a great suggestion. This would be a great live stream for Dark to watch it for the first time.
For sure.
Kenny loved your story, as everyone should. That was great.
Thanks, Ken.
He said he's gonna think about it. He said Ride Playland, yes.
Ride Play.
I've been there once or twice.
I think
50 times.
From New York? Is T from New York or something? Because he knows
you from
he's
New York,
in the area.
T? Oh, yep. He said I'm from NYC,
New York
but
City.
I've never been to play on Broadway. But I've
gotcha. Okay, so he knows what I'm talking about. It's so like. Even talking a little bit more about life, it's like I every weekend I would go to my aunt's house in the Bronx, and that is another portion of my life that we'll get into in the teens.
Okay,
stay tuned. But it was like that, Ken. It was just like that. They were like,
He's just
tell this,
screaming
tell
it.
this kid to sit down.
Sit down. What are you
He's
doing?
not who did the voice? Jason Weaver.
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. So let's weave into the next film. Oh,
Hmm.
you see what I did there?
Oh, nice.
What's the next film on your list?
So, who I will say, wow, we can go anywhere. I'm gonna say, um, The Little Rascals. I'll go there.
Little Rascals,
The Little
another film that's a
Rascals.
classic that I've never seen. Hopefully, I'm
Yes,
spelling this correctly. All right.
and
Hey, thank you.
great. It was a great segue. Wow, couldn't have wrote
Okay.
that better.
Talk to me. Sell me on Little Rascals. Tell me about the
Yeah.
impact.
So The Little Rascals was an updated a movie adaptation from the Roach Hall black and white Little Rascals show.
Mm,
So it's pretty much a bunch of kids running around doing whatever the hell they want to do. But the thing is, it's like they're children, and if you look at the that black and white, because those are the ones that I would see at the end of like videos. It's I don't even know how these movies were put together back then, but it's like it was almost like a compilation of like children stuff.
mm,
And so Little Rascals in black and white would be like, excuse me, at the tail end of those videos. I don't know what company did that, but it was like a mashup of different stuff. So they would be doing like adult things, like they built like cars out of scrap, and they were like driving. You know what I mean? It was like they would just get into all these different antics and stuff like that as children that
mm.
most children wouldn't be doing. So
Yeah.
I guess back then when the black and white was out, it was a comedy thing, but then they made that we don't talk about that one. I actually saw that one. Horrible.
We don't talk about Bruno.
Horrible. Yeah. But the one that they adapted in the 90s, made a movie of the shows, that was dope. That was so dope. As a matter of fact, that kid right there, Stymie, he might be my doppelganger. That's what I looked like when I was a kid.
Yeah.
That him. Him with hair.
We got the baby picture without getting the baby picture.
Right, exactly. It's kind of scary how close he looks to me. But pretty much it's what is this movie? They have a club called the He-Man Woman Haters Club, and Alfalfa's in love with Darla, so he gets kicked out the group. But then there's a race happening. They're trying to get money. Listen, guys, this thing is all over the place because it's like they have different segments of tomfoolery, for lack of a better term. But I guess the overall thing is them. Oh yeah, so what they're trying to do is win the race in order to win the money to rebuild their clubhouse. Because Alfalfa, the one with the
Oh,
little
did it again.
cowlick in the back of his head, he burns it down, right? Or it gets burnt down because
Mm,
he was trying to court Darla, which is the girl. So, but it was just such a fun movie back then, and it was just I actually don't know who directed that, but that's your
I got you on
typical
that information.
90s children's movie.
Let's
So,
see. Go to all. It was directed by Penelope Spheris. Oh, it's a woman director. Nice.
mm,
Let's see. She did Wayne's World, Boys Next
what?
Door, Suburbia, Senseless. Okay, so she's all over the place.
Yeah.
I've heard of Wayne's World, Suburbia, um, and I've heard of Little Rascals. So
Hmm.
she used to do some things.
Wow.
Okay, so what inspired you with the Little Rascals?
Um, So even with the Little Rascals, I think that the inspiration is it built my what's the word I'm looking for? Ingenuity of thinking outside the
Mm,
box. So as
mm,
I'm watching this, I'm seeing them put together a car of trash cans and thing. So I, with my Lego blocks and whatever, was building things. You know what I mean? Trying
yeah,
to kind of do that. So I think that helped with my my ingenuity. I was gonna say no, not I was gonna say engineer, like something like that. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like putting things
But
together,
I know what you
problem
mean.
solving. So,
Yeah,
but
your
overall, that was just a fun
how
movie.
your
So,
real life creativity in terms of like building
correct. Yep. There we go.
stuff.
Yep.
Cool, man. Let's see what the
Which
chat has to say.
actually
Huh?
it brings me to in doing that, I remember watching Back to the Future part
Okay.
2 though. No, part
Yeah,
3, excuse me. So this is when they're in the Wild West and he had like a little diagram of how the car should go with the train tracks. I
yeah.
actually tried to build that thinking that I could do it, you know what I mean, with sparks on. But it was just like a car set, you know, that I just put together and, you know, it was just like
That's amazing. So
yeah.
Little Rascals made you think you could do it. Then you saw Back in the Future. You're like, oh, I can make this.
I could totally make
I
that.
can, the Little Rascals can do it. I
Like
can
he
do
did
it.
it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Like if he
that's
did, I could do
amazing.
it. Shoot.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
Oh
I can just
wow.
imagine you seeing that sci-fi movie, and you're like, I could do that shit.
I could do that. Come on, man. I could make a time car. Come on, man.
Oh,
Yo,
can't
Ken
be that
saw
hard.
Hairspray.
Yeah, in high school. Wow,
Wow.
bowling. I'm just saying.
Yup.
That's a movie I've heard of but never haven't seen. Same here. Dark movies.
Little
I've heard of Little
Rascals, man.
Rascals, just never seen it. Little Rascals is a classic.
Yeah.
He said, "Ote,
It's
my name is Buckwheat."
my name is Buckwheat.
He-Man, woman
And
haters.
woman haters. I know. I know.
Uh, every time I think of Little Rascals, I think of the Eddie Murphy SNL Buckwheat
Oh
skits.
yeah. Yeah. It's like
Oh, she's a great 80s and 90s director.
mm.
Okay.
And it's
A
funny
thoughtful
because
lead called
with
Emperor
the
Sim today.
director, it's like back then, I don't know who directed anything, you
Yeah, me
know?
neither.
I'm just watching this movie. I'm having fun.
Yeah.
But, you know, once you get to when you grow up and I'm looking at what she did, I'm like, yeah, Wayne's World, definitely that. Even Senseless and Black Sheep. You know, so a lot of these classics that I remember seeing, she had her hand. Wow, her directorial resume is long.
That's for dark
Wow.
movies. We're done talking about Back to the Future. He didn't want to get spoilers. Oh man. He
Emperor
said, "Remember
Sim.
when they sabotaged their date? They put
Yeah,
sand in the
yo,
sandwich."
they put kitty litter in the sandwich,
Oh my god.
bro. Like it was wild. It was wild. And honestly, you know, I'm gonna say it right now, yo, because I was watching that with my kids and Darla, yo. I think Darla's for the streets, yo, because
On the
whoever
street.
saw this movie, remember when Waldo pulled up? Because Waldo's a rich kid.
Mm.
So he pulled up and he was like trying to win her from Alfalfa. And she was like just went off with him. And I was like, wait. Like, there's no loyalty out here.
Damn.
Like, what happened? Dang, I felt, you know, that was like she kind of for the
This
streets.
little for this little girl right
Yeah,
here for
Darla,
the
man.
streets.
Right. It was like she was flip-flopping. She didn't know what she wanted.
D- Not dollars for the
Not that was what
streets.
I was like, yo, it was like she was so into Alfalfa, and then as soon as something hit the fan, she's off with Waldo. She was even in the race with Waldo. This is yo T. Yo, I love T right now. Yo, I'm loving T right now. Like he's giving me life.
Dollars for the playground.
She was for the playground.
Whoa.
I'm just
Let's,
like, what's going on here?
okay, ban this person.
But I will say she does the right thing in the end. But after watching that second time over, I was like, I'm not sure. Yeah, she left with Waldo. She was a gold digger. As
This is
soon
the
as the
people that
date went
Kanye
left,
West was
he was
talking
like,
about.
"All right,
That is
man,
hilarious. So what's the next film? So this is the third film?
this is Tall Tale,
Yeah,
Hercules, Little
third
Rascals."
film. So we have
Yes.
three more. What's next up?
So next up, we have a Goofy movie. A
A
Goofy movie.
classic, I know.
I absolutely love this.
Underrated.
But I think the reasons of why I did was because of the father and son relationship, and it's
Mhm.
probably one that I wish I had, you
Mm,
know. So
same.
it's one of those things where um well, there's two reasons. One, because of that, but then the second one is because I never really saw Goofy outside of like those cartoons.
Yeah.
So, but this movie did a great job of showing like his emotions. I
Yeah.
never seen Goofy angry until this film. I never seen him sad until this film. I never seen him confused or scared. You know what I mean? Until this film. But because it's dealing with his son, and so guys, I'm trying not to spoil anything because I think you guys should watch this. It was actually featured on Atlanta, TV show.
Oh, yeah. Oh
You
my god,
you
that
remember that
episode's
episode?
amazing.
I don't I don't know how true that, because it was like a documentary style. Lord, if it's true, God bless, God bless. But I don't think it was true. But it, so just seeing Atlanta, you probably have heard of this movie. Okay.
Yeah.
So you just go through so many emotions, and it's different watching it as, let's talk about, okay, guys, so many thoughts. Kenny, stop talking. Hold on. Because Powerline, stand out above the
Hey.
crowd. Come on now. How you get, like, it's a classic. But I think this movie did a great job of giving us a little bit more um into Goofy's life, obviously. But it's different from when you watch it as a kid and when you watch it as an adult. When I
Mhm.
watched it as a kid, I was like Maximilian, his son.
Mhm.
Want to be cool, wanted to hang out, you know what I mean? Want to be popular, all the stuff that kids go through. Thank you, T. But this all comes through life afterwards of that, right? So up until then, I was like, all right, nah. Then I got my, you know what I mean, my little pipes on me. I started rapping.
Oh.
Let's not. This is gonna be a long. This is gonna be a long. But anyway, back to Goofy movie. When I
Yeah.
watched this as an adult, I was like, I felt for Goofy
Yeah.
because I have 3 kids, y'all.
Mm.
So I guess a parent's worst nightmare, besides uh
Losing
unaliving,
them,
losing them like
unaliving.
that. That's
Yeah.
okay. It's like them getting in trouble,
Mm.
and you try to raise your kids in a way where you're hard on them in the house so that when they get out the house, they're not talking back to the police. You know what I mean? Like, they're not talking back to figures in society that can get them, get them in trouble and craziness. So watching this as an adult, I was like, I feel for Goofy because he just wants to put Max on the right path, and he's doing it the best way he knows how, the way his father showed him.
Mhm.
And you know what I mean? And at a certain point, I think that now that I'm an adult, I feel like I like this movie so much because I felt like that's something that I was missing with I know who my father is, I've
Mhm.
spoken to him, I speak to him, he says, I talk to him. But he wasn't around like that. You know what I mean? Like, when we moved
Mhm.
from South Carolina, he stayed in South Carolina. So that's that situation.
Okay.
So you know what I mean? So this movie speaks to me of my childhood, just being a child, but then it also speaks to me as a parent and being a parent. I see both sides every time I watch this movie now. Yeah.
Hold on. Let me find it.
Yeah.
Beautiful. First of all, that's really low. Why is that so low? There we go.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, man. That's amazing. That's amazing because I relate to that so much. Same thing happened to
Mm.
me. When I first watched the Goofy movie, I was so on Mac's side. I was just like, yeah, annoying Goofy, my dad. Ew.
Right.
How am I gonna get girls like that? How am I gonna get friends with Goofy as
Right.
my dad? But then when you watch it again as an adult, and I rarely watch movies twice. That's one thing you'll know about me. Like if I'm watching a movie multiple times, that means I love it.
Right.
Like usually when I watch it, well, that was good. Maybe you watch it in 10 years, but
Mm-hmm.
not watching it anytime soon. So I watched Goofy movie again a couple years later, and I was more of an adult, and I related way more to Goofy. Not because of the father thing, because like I'm also my mom raised me, not my father, and I don't really know him at all. And I don't talk to him or anything like that. But it
Gotcha.
wasn't like the same reason that you have there. It was more of like, I hope when I become a father, I don't this doesn't happen with me and my kids. That's kind of where I came from. So I
Right.
went from being like Max to like, well, now I'm thinking about having kids.
Right.
Um, this is the difficulty, and I was relating to that aspect of thinking about that. But yeah, that movie,
Right.
like, have you seen with T? He hasn't seen it before. He said, I may have watched this movie. I think that you sold it really well on
Mm.
how powerful this film is. But it's not just somber. It's really fun. It's
Right.
funny and
Right.
all
So
that stuff. All those things.
I want to make it clear, guys. This is not a sad movie by any stretch.
No.
You know what I mean? I think that, and that's the great thing about movies too. It's like things in your life might not be going like what you want or expect, but like talking about a Goofy movie, you can watch a movie like that and pull so much from it.
Mhm.
You know, even from, you know, maybe a sad point in your life, it can relate to you in a fun way. That sounds crazy, but you know, it can be presented to you in a fun way. Yes, so a balance, a good balance, right? Um, but guys, also the music in that, my God,
So
it's
good.
like, and my favorite scene is in the beginning. And the guys, I'll say this, I'm not gonna spoil the thing, but in the beginning, he's trying to win the heart of Roxanne, the
Hmm.
girl.
Roxanne.
So he dresses up like Powerline, who is a celebrity in that world. And that first, like, he takes over the auditorium. What is it? It's I haven't been to school for so long. What do they call it? Assembly. They take
Yeah.
over the assembly with TJ and another friend played by Pauly Shore, by the way,
Yeah.
voiced by Pauly Shore. And they put on like a little music video. So he comes out dancing like Michael Jackson and the whole nine. It doesn't go so well, but just that whole scene, that boom, when it starts,
Yeah.
get your blood
It's
pumping,
amazing.
baby. Yeah.
And I gotta say, like, I know that the Atlanta documentary episode, I think parts of it is real, but most of it's not.
Right.
Um, but I really truly feel, and there's a reason why they decided to do that episode, because for years the black community have said like this is a black movie.
Right.
And I super relate to it
I
because we
think I
don't get a
think it
lot
might
of
this is the blackest movie Disney probably did back then. I'll tell you what.
yeah.
And I'm not even, and I'm talking
And
about blacker than the Lion King. I'm
yeah,
talking that. I'm talking
at least a black American. You know, like that's African and that's not really
right.
black people, that's animals.
Right.
So like that, you know, like this is definitely like more like it felt like it. And um we don't really get a lot of movies with a black father and their black son and them dealing with that relationship. We really don't get a
Right.
lot of stuff like that. So I think that we hold on to it for see he said it's for sure a black movie. It is. It's, you know, it just feels like that. So Goofy movie holds a special place in my heart, and I'm glad you brought it up as a movie that you could relate to so well in terms of all that. It just works on so many levels.
Mhm.
So that was number 4. Let's get to number 5.
All right.
This is all
Okay.
adolescence. Okay.
So I'll say the Addams Family, and I think that'll close out my childhood.
Okay.
There's one that I'm going to talk about because it's my biggest disappointment. Excuse me,
Hmm.
but we'll go to the Addams Family for now.
Okay. Tell me
Yep.
which one is
Oh,
like 17 Adams
Addams
Family?
Family, 1990. I don't even know the year. It was the
Family
first one with Raul. What's his name? The live
93?
action. I don't know. They were all live
No,
action.
probably 91.
91. Yes, that one. That one.
Yeah, I found it.
Right. Now, they made 2 movies of this. Yes, Christina Ricci. Yes.
Yeah. OG.
She is my Wednesday Addams. But I did a review for season 1 of Wednesday on Netflix,
Yeah.
and she was actually in it, and I'm glad the role that she played. I'm glad they didn't
Yeah.
make her like part of the family or nothing like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Make it
But
corny.
yeah. So it would have been corny. But this movie took me to a darker side of comedy for the first time
Mm.
because they're talking about death. They're talking about, you know what I mean? All types of stuff. They're trying to, it's like they narrowly miss killing people.
Yeah.
And it's like, it was funny. And I was like, so this showed me a darker corner of movies, I would say. Like, not
Mm.
scary, but just
Yeah.
darker, if that
Darker
makes sense.
gothic, you know.
Right.
Just some more of a in
So,
a
so
this is
like,
like
yeah,
this is like a gothic movie for kids. Like this is your entry point.
exactly. Exactly. And I mean, it was actually directed, and this probably also has a handle on it. It was directed by I believe Tim Burton, if I'm not mistaken.
Look it up right now. Go
Who is
to
it?
all. Oh no, Barry Sonfield.
Barry
I
Sonderfield.
think
Okay.
I think Tim Burton did the animated one.
Okay. And
Did Men in Black.
oh,
Beverly
okay. No wonder
Hills.
why I liked it so much.
Yeah.
This is my guy. So but no, it was just, and I'll say from even the beginning of it, it was like it was telling you what it was. It was telling you what you're about to get. Because they
Yeah.
didn't even do that. Yeah, rest in peace. Listen, Raul Julia, he probably seen him in Street Fighter
Mm,
movie, but
great in that.
to me, he's the best um Gomez Adams. Like, still to this day. Like, I've seen so many M. Bison, right? So there's still so many renditions of the Adams Family animations,
Yeah.
but he is who I compare everyone to. Just like Gene Wilder in Wonka. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go see Wonka this weekend, right? So I'm comparing to against that. You know what I
Of
mean? So,
course.
but going back to the Adams Family, and this is a Christmas movie, y'all. This is a Christmas movie. It was so dark you would never know. But I
Yeah.
remember they were in front of the Adams Family house. This is how it starts before the credits roll. There's carolers outside singing "Deck the Halls," and then it goes. The camera slowly pans, and then goes up. So it's showing the carolers singing, but then it goes up to their house, and they're a
Yeah.
tall house, right? So when it gets to the top, the family's all on the roof looking down at the carolers, and they're tipping a hot cauldron about to pour it on them. That's how it starts. And then it goes da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na. One of the best openings in a movie ever.
It just sets you off on like what you're getting ready for.
Exactly. Yep.
Which is
Like, this is what
I
it
love
is.
those are the best openers that has the full tone right in the first couple
Mhm.
minutes.
Loved it.
And you talked about let me see what he said. I wonder if it was boycotted like suburban moms boycotted everything in the 90s. I'm sure it was.
Maybe because they did show, I mean, it was fake blood, but like there was a scene where they were on stage or something, and there was a lot of blood. A lot of fake
Yeah,
blood. Let's just
because
put
the
that.
Rotten Tomatoes is not as high as I thought it would be. So I'm sure that people
I don't
boycotted
know
it.
how. I don't
Somebody
know
said no, it
how.
wasn't. Oh,
Mm.
okay. So you talked about the next film being a disappointment. Talk
Yes.
about that.
Yeah. So this movie, the marketing not only tricked me. Yeah. Okay. So Small Soldiers, guys. Small Soldiers. Biggest disappointment. I remember it was the summertime, and it must have been the year that this was coming out because it was in the newspaper. They were advertising in the newspaper. And I remember looking through it and seeing it. Now, if you pull it up, Zach, if you find it,
That's what I'm doing right now.
yeah. So if you scroll down, oh wait, right there, right where oh right, I'm sorry, no, down, like one row down to all the way to the left. Wait, up, yeah, one up, right there. That is what I saw in the paper.
Mm,
So it was like their faces, small soldiers. I was like, okay, I thought this movie was about them.
mm,
I thought it was like a GI Joe something,
gotcha.
right? So I begged my grandfather because I was in wow. During the summers, I used to go down to Virginia Beach with my grandfather just to for vacation or whatever, just to and I remember begging him to take me to see this movie. So he does. And y'all, the biggest shenanigans, the biggest switcheroo ever happened in my childhood life. Not only were the soldiers the bad guys, I don't know who they were. The Gorgonites? Does anyone remember this film? Like the other characters behind it? Yeah, all the weird ones. It was about them. The Gorgonites. I was so upset. I was so mad because I thought it was like GI Joe toys
Yeah.
shooting and having battles or whatever it was. Nah, son. See, and guys, back then we didn't have internet like that. You couldn't
Yeah.
just Google something and see what it's about, the synopsis. You had
The
to go see
reviews.
it for yourself. And
Yeah.
when I saw it, I was so disappointed. Oh my God. Yeah, they were just, they were searching for freedom, but the way they built it up, they always put the soldiers' faces in the front. So you're thinking it's about them, they're the good guys or whatever,
Yeah, because even look at this poster. He's right in the
right?
front.
It's like they're together. It's like, oh, I'm gonna help you or whatever. Like they're together there. Like, what the
This
heck?
is more a representative of the
That
movie.
but we don't see that. That was probably
Yeah.
made. Was this a video game? That's a video
Yeah, I
game,
don't
I think.
yeah, it's a video game. It's not
I
even
see
the
E for
the
everyone
movie.
because we didn't see that. Like if it was like that, then I could have understood. Okay, they're going against each other.
What you're getting into, yeah.
Horrible marketing.
That's so funny that you said that because when I saw Small Soldiers in your list, I got excited, but then I saw disappointment. I was like, what? And
Yeah.
then because like Kenny, Small Soldiers was my jam back in the day. But I can understand if you've seen all this marketing and you begging to go and this is your time with your grandfather, and you're like, wait, this is not what I signed up for.
Exactly, right?
How
So the whole
mad you would be.
so pretty much like a good portion of that movie, I'm just like, why? I'm not even thinking about the story or anything. I'm just like, oh, this is not what I wanted.
That's a good point that he just said. Even on the poster that we said that's more representative, usually they put heroes on the left.
Mm,
So it is completely misleading.
yep. And it got
They
me.
wanted people who probably wouldn't have watched this because it was like, oh, what these animals are the heroes and the
Right,
white people are the bad guys. I'm not watching this
right.
shit. And then they went and go see it and like, wait, they caught us. So I can imagine there was a lot of people who were just like, yeah, because the Rotten Tomatoes is 49%.
Mm,
There's a lot of people. Well, it made $71 million, which is a lot of money back then.
yeah.
Kirsten
They
Dunst was in
tricked
this.
everyone. That's why.
Yeah. Kirsten Dunst was in this, Tommy Lee Jones, Dennis Leary.
And
They had a good
honestly,
cast.
Tommy Lee Jones, I don't know what role he played. I don't
It
know
said
what. I
Chip
didn't know who.
Hazard.
I even. I couldn't even go back and be like, oh, I remember him from this. No, I couldn't. I didn't even know anybody was in there. I was focused on
You
the
were so
toys.
upset.
I was so upset. I was
He's like,
like,
I was
nah,
so
son.
upset. That's funny. That is hilarious. So I love the adolescence part because a lot of these movies influenced your searching for type of films. So we
Yes.
had the Greek inspiration from Hercules and Tall Tales, but Tall
Hmm.
Tales was the beginning of that, led into Hercules, and that just affects your general life
Right.
in general because they're just interested in mythology. And then we talked about the Goofy movie, and that's more of a personal tale from both sides.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
in terms of how it relates to you as your ethnicity, you how the way you grew up, the dynamics, and then you watching your first movie probably where you watch it as a kid, it means one thing, and then you watch it as an adult and it means something else.
Right.
And then we talked about the Little Rascals and the Adams Family. I think both of those, one influenced your life because
Hmm.
you help you be in ingenuity, which is really important for a child. So that's good that you saw the movie as a child. And then the Adams Family is interesting seeing as a child because you said it opens you up to kind of like dark humor,
Right.
which a lot of people are not. They It's hard for them to get into dark humor sometimes because some people feel
Yep.
it's like it's too disrespectful and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really interesting. I'm excited to see how all that leads into like your next like when you get into your teenage years. But before we get into the teenage years, right before that, if I could find my stuff because I'm stupid. Something new I got. Invasion alert. We got a
Wow.
random question I'm gonna ask you off the top of your head. Um this one is just an interesting one because we're going from childhood where you didn't have that much internet, and we're going to your teenage years where there is way more internet and there's
Yep.
way more access. And this question says, how did the internet change the film industry? At least for you.
Ooh, wow. Well, I think it's like because I'm trying to think. It's like this is where you started getting like more social media.
Hmm.
So people are talking a little bit more now about their
Yeah.
favorites and what they did and didn't like. Where before it was like it was like pretty much your circle of friends are the ones talking about it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So now you're
Yep.
hearing, oh my God, he's talking about AOL this. Can we put a pin in that? Hold on, hold on, hold on. Let me get through this
I
thought.
got
Hold on,
you.
hold on,
I'll
hold on.
save it for later.
All right. Because I feel like now you can have a better representation of what the movie is about.
Mm,
And if you're going to actually like it. Before you had no idea. You just if your friend who likes the same things as you said they liked it, you're like, okay, I'm gonna go see it because I know I'm gonna like it. But now there's more like talking back and forth between people, um, and even um, knowing when the movies are coming out. You know what I mean? Like you
mm,
had access to all of that. Um, because computers. I remember I was in middle school when I first saw like a computer lab in a school. You know what I mean?
mm.
It
Yeah.
was like the Apple computers where they first came out, looked like eggs. Um, they
Yeah.
did. They were like colorful eggs. That's how I think. But no, it was during that time when I remember being in lab and the teacher wasn't even teaching us. Like they would teach us
Hmm.
what like a search bar is there, but they would let us just go off and explore.
Yeah.
So really we were teaching each other. We were going on different websites, not crazy websites now, right?
Yeah.
But it was like websites where you could play games. There was websites where you can, do different things. And it was like, oh, okay, let me go over there. What was it? I remember what was it? Newgrounds.com.
I was
You
just
could
about to
like
say
watch
that.
animations and stuff. Like
Yeah, they had
I
games
was
and stuff like
all
that.
into that.
Yeah.
Wow. So I think the access to movies and knowing what you like is easier to see, during when the internet starts, coming into power, I
Gotcha.
guess.
Great answer. I love it. So now with all this access and this information, what's the first movie on your list? And I'm gonna ask you once you say it, I'm gonna ask you another question. But what's the first movie on the list
Sure.
for your teenage years?
Right. So I'm gonna say The Matrix, $19.99.
Ooh, one of the biggest movies
Now,
I've never
talking
seen.
about we talked about
Internet.
marketing.
Hmm.
That was marketed.
That's what I was about to ask you. I was gonna ask you whatever movie you said. How did you find out about this movie? But The Matrix was,
The Matrix is everywhere, dog. Like literally billboards. Because this was, and honestly, this is the first time I have actually seen marketing like this. So there were billboards that says, "What is the Matrix?" Question mark.
Mhm.
I want to know.
So let
um,
me in.
you know what I mean? And then there was like a website. Here we go. So going from internet, now there's a website where you can go
Mm,
to whatisthematrix.com, and then they had like a countdown timer or whatever. It was like very vague, and they weren't telling you nothing. So it
mhm.
just amps you up to want to see this
A
movie
mystery.
because thank you. And it's like, what is the Matrix? What is in the newspaper? What is the Matrix everywhere? And you're like, what is the Matrix? I want to know. But and I think there was like a trailer out during that. Oh, and you can see trailers now, not just on
Yeah.
commercials.
You can
Now
actually
I
go
can
and
go
watch
to a
them.
web. Yep, exactly. I can go to a website. Boomer, chill. I can go to a website, rewatch the trailer, and we were watching that. I remember we watched that trailer over and over again because of this whole. Remember that this part,
Yeah.
the
The,
Matrix.
the bullet time.
That's what we were watching. We
Yep.
were like, "Yo, how they do that?" Ah! It was like a cinematic feat back then. It was like, "Yo."
Yeah. Until they ran into the
Um,
ground.
but I remember watching that, and I didn't know anything. Even when you saw the trailer, you didn't know. You just knew they were going to be shooting up. There's going to be like this
Mhm.
one guy who's super power, something, whatever, giving him that power. You just had to watch it because seeing the trailer, you know the character and what maybe he's trying to do, but you still don't
Yeah.
know what the Matrix is.
Yeah.
They did a great job with that marketing.
Which is it's interesting because they don't really. I feel like now most movies they'll start in that direction, like cool, and then the trailer will keep going and
Oh,
start telling you
right.
everything. There's no mystery
Exactly.
anymore.
Yeah.
You almost get the whole plot.
Right.
I forgot what
Man.
movie I was watching. I was watching something, and I was like, "Okay, this looks interesting. I'm interested in this." And then it started going more, and I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, stop telling me
Yep.
so much about the movie. You're
Yep.
telling me about the third act. Like, I don't need to know what's going on in the third act."
Hmm. It's like, why?
So
Why
yeah,
do that?
and I love trailers. Like the art of a trailer gets me excited. When a great trailer is put together, this is why I do trailer reactions. It
Mm,
like just enlightens. Sometimes better than the movie. It
right.
just ignites something in my brain that I
Right.
just love, man. So,
Yep.
a good trailer can carry you. Like, I'll never forget the first Infinity War trailer. Holy crap. Because it took like the trailer, I was like, this is like Star Wars, this is like Lord of the
Right.
Rings level kind
Right.
of like storytelling and production. We're getting
Yep.
it from my favorite franchise. I was like,
Right. Of course. You
yeah.
know.
So
Um,
yeah, you're right.
but man, the Matrix, man. And you know what's
Yeah.
funny? When I did finally go see that movie, I was still confused of what the Matrix was.
He said, I still don't know what's going on.
Still. So,
So what did you
but
take from it though? Since you didn't really fully understand the plot and everything like that, why is it such a big film for you that you put it on this list?
yeah, so during the teen times, I was really into martial arts.
Hmm.
So I don't even know, did I start? I think I started a little bit before the movie came out, but just seeing the action and everything, it was groundbreaking, literally. And it allowed me to see technical advancements in film because
Mm,
the whole this thing, you're like, how they do that? They slowed it down. How they we don't know
yeah.
how they did this.
No.
But apart from the fighting and it was like it was something that I never seen before in a movie.
Yeah.
And just scratching my brain on how it was done was it was fun. It was fun to do. So
Yeah. That makes sense. So it was your first wow, cinema is like magical kind of moment.
Right, exactly.
Gotcha. That's an amazing thing. I'm trying to think when was my first one. I don't know because I've never seen The Matrix. I've only heard about it. I heard how
You
important it
never
is.
seen The Matrix, bro.
I've never seen The
You're in
Matrix.
for
I'm
a
gonna try.
treat.
I started the first one and I got like 15 minutes in and I fell asleep and I just never went back to
Gotcha.
it.
One second.
Yep. Do you think? Always gotta make sure that everything's okay. So hold on. Kenny said some things here I want to talk about because I know some of my younger viewers don't know. First of all, Toxic Gamer 31, thank you for joining the live stream, man. Hey, Screen Zen and Zach, how are y'all days been? My day has been pretty good. Not bad at all, man. Thank you for joining the live stream. Appreciate you. How are you doing yourself? The weekend's been pretty good. It's crazy that Saturday's almost over already. Kenny said that's back when movie posters weren't a bunch of floating heads. Yeah. I wish the like some of the floating head posters are fire. Like I like the Furiosa one that recently came out. That's less floating heads and more full body. But yeah, I wish it wasn't the standard. I just wish they would do it when it makes sense. Apparently, there's someone back in the day that actually believed the Matrix and thought the Matrix was actually real, which is super weird. There's a lot of people that still think the Matrix is super real. It's not. That is not over, my friend. Some people still do. The Matrix is great, and the only one that matters is the first one. That's what I hear. I hear it goes downhill after the first one. So, but I will check because there's movies that people say, "Oh, this sucks," and then I end up loving it. So I'm gonna watch it eventually. I want to watch the Matrix. I'm doing good. I'm at Universal right now. Oh wow, Universal Studios. That's dope. I've never been to Disneyland, Disney World, or Universal Studios. So that's really exciting that you're there. And you're on the stream with us. So I'm guessing you're like waiting online for a ride or something like that. That's why you were able to jump into the stream. Hey, Screen Zen is back.
Hello.
Hey. Okay, we're all good. Before we get into the next movie, let's talk about some of these things that Kenny said.
Oh, real quick. Yeah. I
Oh,
was about to say the AOL disc.
yep.
Kenny,
But yeah,
I used to.
Matrix. Oh, you're gonna
Yeah,
talk the AOL? That's okay.
yeah. I used to, because they used to have the AOL disc when the internet first came out, so you
Yeah.
could take one for free, just like
Oh
a
yeah.
trial, and just be on there, right? We used to take handfuls of these discs, and once the trial ended, you best believe the next disc is going back in. We're gonna keep this
Yep.
trial going.
Yep. Let me pull this bad boy up. So the younger kids that never had to deal with this bull crap.
Right.
No, we're not lying. Yes.
Oh, it's been so long since I've seen one. Oh
Yeah,
my
man.
god.
This is how we used to get internet, guys. We used to have to pop a disc in. We would get a trial, look, 1,000 hours for free. You get a certain
Wow.
amount of hours, and it 1,045 hours. And they would have ads on them. That's why there's different colors because people would pay to get the ad on the disc.
Yep.
And you would get free ones, and then you would have to pay for some. This
I
was like
think
the
that's the
standard
one I
one.
remember that one for some reason.
Yeah, that's the standard one that everyone. I think that and this one.
Mhm.
But yeah, this is how we used to get internet before Wi-Fi and all that other stuff
Yep.
existed. You was to put the disc in, load it in. It would be dial up.
Daggone. Oh my
You hear the
gosh. And
you
don't
hear
pick
the
up the
dial up
phone.
sound.
Don't pick
Yep.
up the phone if you're trying to get on because you will be
Oh,
disconnected.
you get disconnected. Oh my god, the struggle that we had to go through back in the day.
Oh man.
Oh man. He also said Newgrounds is awesome. Yes, Newgrounds
Newgrounds. That was the
is
place,
super
man.
awesome. I remember there was this Dragon Ball Z grid game that I used to play on there all the time, and unfortunately is gone now. I
Why
would
do I
be on that
remember
for
that?
hours. So like
Oh
basically
man.
it was like 4 grids. You'll be start here, the enemy will start here, and you had to either pick to attack, defend, or move.
Oh wow.
And it was like this strategy game. And like if you attack, but you only had a little life, you could die. If you move, you might move in the wrong place because you're not 100%
Right.
sure where they're gonna shoot next. It was
Mm,
such a fun game.
that sounds
But I
fun.
went on
Wow.
Newgrounds looking for it and I couldn't find it.
Dag.
What's this? The the
The blackgoku.com?
blackgoku.com. I don't know about
What?
that. It's the first time I heard about that one. You put me on. And this is what he was saying. That's back when movie posters were a bunch of floating heads.
Right.
And let's see. This guy's at Universal. I think 2 has a couple good action scenes, but it's overall okay. The 3rd one I didn't like, and the 4th one I haven't seen. I haven't
What are
heard
we
good
talking
things about
about?
the 4th
Oh,
Matrix.
Matrix.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the trilogy. Okay, so the trilogy of the Matrix is thing because it actually made me curious about that world. So when Animatrix came out, Animatrix was what you would find in it's almost reminiscent of what is that? What's that Netflix show? Love, Hate, Robots?
Love, Death, Robots.
Love, Death, Robots. It's like that. It's like a collection of different stories within that world.
World.
But some of
Okay.
those stories told the story of the Matrix, and that's actually what I was very interested in. Apparently, the humans are the bad guys. Apparently, because
Mm.
when the Matrix, it starts with them, the machines, using humans in like these pods as electricity. Well, apparently, it started with the humans mistreating AI and robots. I'll
Trying to
leave it like that.
colonize them.
Right. I'll leave it like that.
Yep, and we're heading right to that.
Yep. It's like, yo, hopefully we don't get the anything like the creator. As long as we
Oh
avoid
gosh.
that, I'm okay.
Yeah, definitely. I
That's
just bought
crazy.
that 4K. Super
Nice.
dope. Excited to rewatch that. It's gonna be on Hulu next week, so
Okay. Dope. I'm gonna rewatch that when it streams.
yep. Okay, so going from the Matrix to what? What's the next movie?
Ong Bak.
This is one I never heard about.
Ong Bak.
Not even seen. Ong Bak.
Love it.
Okay, what kind of film is this?
So this is a martial arts film.
Okay.
It's actually a Muay Thai martial arts film. So for anyone who doesn't know, I'm a black belt. And when I went to the Bronx on the weekends to visit my aunt or to stay with her, I took martial arts classes. And I did it
Mm,
to the point where I became a black belt. Um, that taught me a lot, just doing that a lot. But during that time, a lot of me and my friends were into a lot of the martial arts films. And Ong Bak was special because it was different. It was new, it was different. And the draw was that he's doing his own stunts. Um,
mm.
to
I get
where it's
Jackie
like
Chan.
almost like Jackie Chan, right? Um, but he's doing the stunts not like falling from a building, you know what I mean? Like Jackie Chan, he'll fall from anywhere, break a couple of ribs,
Yeah.
um, making a sequence. But him, it was like specific ways that he would do tricks and stuff. So for instance, like if you see this picture right here, like he would be chased, like this whole scene of him
Yeah.
being chased by some guys was just him showing off what he could do as a martial artist. So like
Mm,
he can like barbed wire, he can run through it, like run and jump through it, and it's him doing it. No wires, no
wow.
stunt
Special
doubles. There's
effects.
no mats on the floor, nothing. He's doing everything himself. And there's a portion of this where he gets cornered, he does a running jump and starts running on the crowd's heads and
Oh wow.
shoulders. He did that without any like lift you up and run, because we all know what that looks like. It looked like he's floating,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
he did that himself. So when this movie came out, this was, especially in the martial arts world, it was like, okay, he's literally doing everything, flipping off of, whatever, doing double front flips over knives and stuff, like, and he was doing it all himself.
Nice.
Tony Jaa is the martial artist's name. And I've seen, there you go, T. Me and T are linked up right now. For real. But there are it's unfortunate because he was doing movies after that, there's Ong Bak 2 and 3, which weren't really the same. It didn't really
Mm,
continue the story of Ong Bak. It was just by name, really, for me.
yeah.
But he could have been something.
Special.
He's a legend. He's a legend in
Yeah.
the martial arts
Tony Jaa
world.
is a legend. He
I
was
don't
just in
know how.
Expendables, right?
Yeah, exactly. So they even have him in that, which I was happy to see. And it's one of those things where he could have been bigger than he was. And there's a documentary on him on YouTube. You can go check that out. But it was just like, the management and all of that stuff, all the
Mm,
red tape that you would have to
yeah.
go through. It just got him. And I feel like he didn't reach his full potential, not even in a smidge. So all
Oh,
knees, yo. It was Muay Thai, so he's he's jumping on dudes, and he's doing this. It's not like
yeah.
there's no strings attached, y'all. He's jumping up to a grown man, putting his knees on his shoulders, and like coming down with his elbows on his head. Like he does that,
Damn.
and just like all knees, it's Muay Thai, so they fight with their knees and their elbows and extremities. You know what I mean? A lot.
Yeah.
So
It's deadly.
deadly it is, right?
Protector
The
is another good
Protector. The
one. Yeah.
Protector was good. I'm not gonna. Okay, so that was actually one of the better ones that he was in. Yes,
Yeah, I've heard about that. He was in Fast 8, I think.
I don't
Yeah, I
remember him
missed
being in Fast 8.
I didn't see 8 and 9. So
Mm,
I didn't get to check that one out, but I wouldn't be surprised. I've heard of Tony Jaa for a while. I think I may have seen The Protector with him in it.
yeah.
But now you described it, I have heard of Ong Bak and how great the action in those films are, but
Mm,
I've just never seen them. So that's dope. And that tied into the whole martial artist part. Like I could see
right.
that ignited that because you were doing it and then you're watching this movie and you're probably like, oh my God, I want to be like that.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
That's genius. I love it. Let's see what's next. What we're fighting to next? Little
Yes.
segment.
Okay. We're gonna we're gonna go to let's go to Kung Fu Hustle.
Okay, another.
Because this is around the time where I was big into a lot of like the martial arts, and I was learning more about um like players in that game. So Kung Fu Hustle was directed by Stephen Chow, and
Mhm.
he actually is an actor in his films. So
Mm,
he done a string of films. One was Shaolin Soccer, which is like it brought kung fu to the soccer world. That's a fun movie. Um,
I heard.
and so so I was watching a lot of his older films, but it was Kung Fu Hustle that was the newest thing that he's done.
Mm,
And this is a director where you don't know when he's going to make a movie.
yeah, he takes his time.
You know what I mean? And the fact that he was coming out with Kung Fu Hustle, it was like this was an immediate must watch.
Yeah,
Okay. Because Stephen Chow, has a lot of CGI and stuff in his films. It's stylized, that way.
gotcha,
But it's entertaining and it's funny. So yeah, Kung Fu Hustle, definitely.
gotcha. So, Kung Fu Hustle. What's the difference between like Ong Bak and Kung Fu Hustle for you in terms of like why are they both in the list? Because they both martial art films.
Right,
Ong Bak seems like it's a serious, Muay Thai. It's a
right.
serious story. Kung Fu Hustle is a comedy. So, what
Yes.
did that open up for you?
Right. So I think that well, because I've seen like martial art comedies, especially Jackie Chan, like his classics, like Drunken Master and things of that nature,
Yeah,
right?
police story.
But I think that what Kung Fu Hustle did for me was seeing um because it was like up until then I was watching the classics. So we're
Mhm.
talking about like Five Deadly Venoms, um uh Bruce Lee, all those films, right?
Yeah,
But Stephen Chow, he would bring in, um, and I don't know where he got the budget from. God bless him, because it was a lot of CGI and stuff like that. So, for instance, it's like, how do I explain this? It was like the scenes became bigger because of the art that was involved. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like for instance, he would have a lot of things where I don't know. You have to watch it. I don't even know how to describe it. It was like it was
Yeah.
funny, but it was like a full blown CGI movie. Um, there are
Mm.
there are movies like that. On Netflix, there was one called Journey to the West. I'm not sure if anyone
Okay.
heard of that, but it's
Yeah.
kind of like that because it was similar to his style. Honestly, I'm not sure if he did that or not, but I don't think he did. But it was kind of like that. Um, the technical aspects of the CGI made the movie better, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
It's
Okay.
hard to explain. You have to see it. Yeah,
But it's a stylized thing about it.
it's stylized, definitely.
Yeah. Have you seen these movies with you, man? Like I haven't
Yo,
heard. Well, I haven't seen these, but I've heard about them a ton of times. Um, and look, it looks like Toxic Gamer is going to put it on his radar. You're selling it to him. You're selling it to
mm,
him. I just want to say,
yeah,
for Have You Seen with T, Toxic Gamer, for the questions that don't deal with the stream that the topics we're on, I'm starring them, so I'll answer them. We're going to talk about it at the end of the stream when he
perfect.
gets through
Yep.
all his movies. Because I don't want to interrupt each part too much. But going from Kung Fu Hustle, what would be the next film in your teenage years that has influenced you?
Yes, I will say, A Knight's Tale.
Okay.
A
This is
Knight's
with
Tale. Then we got
Christian,
one
not
more
Christian
for
Bale, Heath
teen.
Ledger.
Yes, Heath Ledger. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Tell me
So,
about A Nice Tale.
yep. So this is the first movie that I've seen that was like a period piece, but it took me for a loop when I first saw it because they would have like little musical breaks.
Okay.
And Zach, now that I'm thinking about it, they might be able to do Hercules like that too. Because it wasn't
Like A Nice Tale.
full-blown songs. It wasn't full-blown songs, but you have like little let me talk about the Knight's Tale. In the Knight's Tale, it's about Heath Ledger who is trying to change his status in his society, and we're dealing with medieval times. Okay, knights, queens, kings, all of that. He's a peasant, and he's trying to change his stars in the movie. That's how they say it. I'm going to change my stars.
Mhm.
But you notice that every so often they have like these musical numbers, but they're using music from modern times. And it's
Okay.
like for instance, he goes to a dinner and he's like the outsider. So they were like, "Oh, show us a dance from wherever you're from," right? And he would get on the dance floor, kind of do some random thing, but the music playing in the background was like a rock and roll song that you know. You know what
Got
I
you.
mean? So that movie was very interesting musically to me. It was a great film. It was inspiring of starting at one point, but then being able to not letting that stop you, but then becoming who you truly want to be. Okay, so that's what this
Mm.
movie personally did for me. But then a layer on top of that is just the music. Paul Bettany, Toxic. You are absolutely correct. He was superb in that film. Bethany, excuse me.
If you don't know who Paul Bettany is, that's Vision from the MCU.
Yes,
For
Vision
people
before
that's
the
watching
Vision,
this.
before the
Yeah.
Mind Stone. Um, and even the girl that he's with, I found out that she's actually a DJ. So it
Oh wow.
further made sense to why the music was the
The
way it
music was
was.
in it.
And
Yeah.
they did it multiple times. So even when they were like, because he's a knight and he's jousting, they were doing. I think they did like "He Will Rock You" from Queen. You know what I mean? Like the crowd was
Mm.
doing it. Doom, doom, ch, doom, doom, ch. Like stuff like that. Like embedded into the
The
movie, just
film.
just elevated that, for me. It was like, oh, I
Some
recognize that
stuff
song.
that shouldn't even be in this time they were using mostly.
Exactly right. They did a great job of making it make sense because it wasn't just random. It was like
Yeah.
when it needed it was there, and it was like, okay, okay, okay. It brought a little bit of a cooler edge to it. Yeah.
It says, "Oh, yeah, I finally got a movie that T
You
has not seen."
T, I have a feeling you're gonna love that movie. I have a feeling that's gonna be top 20 at least.
So with the singing, because it sounds like there's a comedic edge to it,
There is, yes.
is it similar? Because there's a movie that I watched recently from a throwback series I do on the channel for A Princess Bride. Is it similar in
Ooh.
tone to that film?
No,
No.
definitely
Okay.
not. So
2
a
different
princess
comedic tones.
yeah, so different comedic tones. The Princess Bride is definitely Mel Brooks.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's a muted comedy, if I can say that.
Mhm.
Talking about The Princess Bride. That's like to
Yeah.
me a muted comedy.
Yeah.
Because they have
I've never thought about that. That's a great way to describe
you
them.
know, and because they have quips and stuff all in there that you're laughing at and it's like funny. But this one is more of a ruckus comedy. So like they're
Mm.
yelling, they're screaming, "How could you do that? XYZ, what you put the wrong horseshoe on, stuff like that.
They're like
Um
they are telling jokes,
they're
basically.
telling jokes, you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Yeah. And
Okay, muted comedy. That's a great
they
term.
even they even have like references to pop culture
Mhm.
where they're asking someone to make armor for him and she like puts a double Nike check in it. She was like, that's my call sign, you know what I mean? So stuff like
That's
that, you know what I mean? Yeah.
yeah, a wink, wink to the
Oh,
meta jokes.
meta jokes. There we go. Beautiful.
G
I love that.
Gotcha. He said also he has a nude scene in it. Paul
Yeah,
Bettany, that
you
is.
see his bare ass. You see his bare I'm sorry, I don't want to get
Oh,
too
he did
deep.
the Thor?
Yeah, you just see it.
Nice.
It's a quick scene.
Alright. So this was your first, period piece,
Yes.
but
Like
not a
period piece.
serious one. That's pretty
It's
funny
not
for your
really, you know
first
what I
period.
mean? It's like it's not really, but it was like it took place then. So I'll say this is my first period piece. Yeah.
Nice. And, so did that open you up to watching movies with older aesthetics like that? Like, it's made in more modern times, but, like, it's
Now,
about medieval or
right. So I'll say this that it didn't open me up to like more medieval movies. Like it didn't make me interested in that time period like that.
yeah.
Um I think that I think more for this movie of what it did for me musically. Because even
Mm,
during this time, I was rapping. And
mhm.
so there was a lot of things, especially and you can see it in the movies that I picked from my childhood, that the music also is
A big
another
part.
layer that kind of got me too. You know what I mean? Um, but this one, it was a good story, well put together, Knight's Tale. But it was the music that threw me for a loop that I didn't know. It starts out kind of like that, and I was like, I didn't know where this was going. I was glued to that screen, the whole time.
Okay. Let's get glued to the next option. What's the
Yes,
next film?
Unbreakable, and I think
Unbreakable.
this is a good one to lead into what I was liking into college years, but Unbreakable was directed by M. Night Shyamalan, and it
Oh,
stars,
okay, I've heard this.
um, oh Lord, Bruce Willis. Whoa,
Yeah, Bruce
why couldn't I
Willis.
remember his name? But oh wow, there's a couple on here actually. Yes, Unbreakable. Let's go here. So yeah,
I'm gonna
so
save
this
this for
one,
the end, T. But yeah, continue to talk about Unbreakable.
right? So this one was the first time that I ever this was the one of the movies with a twist at the end that I didn't see coming,
Mm,
and I didn't know what this was. But what all I knew was it was like throughout the whole thing, you're trying to figure out if he's a superhero or not.
yeah,
Like, is it all in uh uh
in his head.
Samuel's head, or is he onto something? So this one, the twist was just unbelievably great for me, and this was one of the first movies that I ever had that twist at the end. This is actually, I guess, introduction. I don't know when I See Dead People came out. What's the name of that movie?
Sixth Sense?
Sixth Sense, right? I don't know when Sixth Sense came out, But
So
that
this
also
came out
got me with the
when
twist.
2000, and then he also did Sixth Sense. So M Night Shyamalan, right?
Right.
This came out a year before Unbreakable.
A year before. Okay. So I mean, it was like all the twists and turns and getting into M Night Shyamalan before the bad movies,
Ooh.
before the movies where he kind of failed us. But
Yeah.
this really got me into like the twist at the end and not seeing what happens, because up until this point, I was following the movie. As long as I follow the story, I know what's happening. But this movie and Sixth Sense both took me for a loop. I was like, wow, did not see that coming.
I really want to sit down and watch this Split in the Glass. I still
Mhm.
haven't got to
It's
see.
worth it.
Yeah, I heard that
Well,
Split. I heard Unbreakable is great. I heard Split is great. I heard the Glass is not so
it's not,
much.
but so I'll say this: Glass is not the better of. Is not for Split and Unbreakable the best. But
Yeah,
you want to watch this just to end that trilogy. If that you see what I mean. You just want
get
to watch
closure and
just to
everything.
close that chapter, right?
Gotcha.
Um, right. I mean, it's still a good. It's it's a good time. It's a popcorn movie. Um, but definitely watch in order. I suggest to everyone who wants to watch Unbreakable first, then watch Split, then watch Glass.
Gotcha.
Is one of those you have to do that. Unbreakable is a classic. Yes, exactly. Right. Facts. The most muted superhero movie ever.
This was before Unbreakable. Yeah, he's talking about Sixth Sense.
Mhm.
I've been to Ontario Street Comics a few times. That's the comic book store Mr. Glass
Oh,
was in.
what?
Oh
That's a real
wow,
place. I didn't know that.
that's dope. Jackson, I think it's a scene with Steeler in that movie, and how he ties him and David Dunn together is very well done.
For sure.
His first two movies are classics. Split was great. Glass is terrible.
Yeah. So I saw Glass in the theaters and I was like, yikes. But I was like, all right. It got a little ridiculous. It got a little ridiculous. And I think they went away from what he was doing M. Night in Unbreakable and even Split.
Yeah.
Glass could have been so much better,
Hmm.
but
I
I don't
wonder if
know.
that was him messing up or a studio thing. Because
I
when
mean,
did Glass come out? Because I could see them being like, well, all these other superhero movies are coming out. You got to step up.
right. I think it might have been a studio thing
Came
because
out 2019. So yeah.
I think it was a studio thing because if you're thinking about Unbreakable and then Split, those movies were great. So I don't think he would have made a movie in that world being that bad and different, if that makes sense. Like that
Yeah.
wouldn't be on
Just
his
feels
mind to do
it
that.
feels off.
Yeah. Mhm.
Oh wow. He's like real close to it. I haven't
Wow.
seen Glass yet, but I know the ending and it seems like it sucks, but no spoilers. So yeah,
No, no,
don't
no.
spoil it.
So
Glass was awful.
listen, but it's
Twitter.
one of those things. Don't skip it. You want to
Yeah,
see
I'm
it
gonna watch it
because
though.
it still kind of ties in Split and Unbreakable.
Yeah,
You just
and it
you
gives you
just want
closure.
to, yeah. You'll
And
hate
you know
yourself
me, I
if you don't
might
watch
end up liking it.
it. You never know.
You never
You never
know. There's
know.
stuff that people are like, this is garbage. I'm like, but that's my favorite movie.
Right. That's my favorite movie. It's like I loved it.
Uh, I think that's a part of the reason why it might not suck for me because I won't have expectations. Like the gap between Unbreakable to Split is long,
Right.
and then there's a little bit of a gap between Split and Glass. I won't have all this
Right.
hyped up. I'm just gonna be watching them back to back. Like, okay, let me get the story.
Yep.
Split is phenomenal in every sense of the word. Wow. And Split came out 2014. So yeah, so there was
Okay.
14-year difference between Unbreakable and Split,
That's
and then a
crazy.
5-year difference
That's
between.
crazy. But you know how excited. And here's the thing: when Split came out, I don't think I knew that it had any ties to Unbreakable.
Most people didn't. I think that was the big talk about it. Like people seeing the first beginning, like, wait, hold up, this is tied
Right.
into.
And then yeah. I don't even want to talk about it, but
Yeah.
yeah. So there's
So
only one more. There's only one more.
okay, was this Unbreakable one for you?
So he can do this all night, folks. He can do this all night.
Could do this all day.
So I have to talk about this one, Leon the Professional.
Ah, yes, you
And this
have
is
to.
what's on the
It's in the
thumbnail.
thumbnail.
I have to talk about this one. So,
This is a
like, when we're
film
talking
that I've
about
seen.
teen year, well, go ahead.
This is a film that I've seen, so I'm excited
Okay.
about this.
So Leon, and so all the other ones, I think I was a little bit into my teen years when I saw this, but this is when like maybe 12, 13. Like I'm talking about starting. I saw this. Now, if you remember, my mom, she worked at RKO Video, so we in our house we had like walls of VHS tapes. So when she wasn't home, because shout out to the Latchkey kids, I was during this time I was dipping into like the R-rated stuff, the stuff I was curious about but couldn't
Not supposed to
watch.
be watching.
And
Yeah,
she ain't home, so it's going in, and I'm going to figure out what this was.
it's going down.
Anyway, this is one of those movies, and it changed me
For you,
forever. I was like, I didn't know life was like this. I was like, I was like, I did not know like the corruption and crooked cops and the amount of killing and shooting, and but it was beautiful. And I this actually remember crying at the end of this because it was so touching to me at the very end.
Yeah,
And yeah, Natalie Portman, a young Natalie
young
Portman. And
with her
guys,
first
I
role.
even have ideas for how they could have did a sequel, but a sequel's never going to happen with this. I know it. And if they did it
Why?
now, I wouldn't want them to make it.
Why do you think a sequel will never happen?
Well, it's too far outside of the timing. This is
Okay.
definitely a self-contained movie. It's one of those. It's like it doesn't lend itself to be a sequel, and is also problematic because I learned later that there are kind of weird parts in this with Leon and Matilda is her name in this,
Yeah,
where it's like a little suggested that they're like in
it definitely
love.
is.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? They don't show anything. They don't really do anything. They're not really. They don't do anything. Okay, let me put that
yeah.
out there.
But
But the
they
way that
suggested it.
yes, and it was almost like what do they call that when you fall in love with your captor, but he wasn't a captor. He was
Oh
like
my
your
god,
favorite.
I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember what the word is. It's literally a movie. With the, damn it, I did
It's
it again. It's definitely it is a movie with that name.
right.
Stockholm Syndrome.
Stop. There we go. Stockholm syndrome. So like she's starting to like not flirt, but like fall in love, and
Yeah,
is a little weird, right?
yeah,
But it doesn't go throughout the whole movie. I think there's like one or two scenes where it's like I don't know about that, but
yeah.
nothing happens, and it's not that type of movie, y'all. And I'll defend it to the grave. But
Same.
pretty much, such a beautiful movie, y'all. Her family dealing with drugs and crooked cops.
Mm-hmm.
Family gone. Bang bang. I'll say it like that. Gone.
Finito.
She comes back, and I'm spoiling this because this is the scene that like throughout the whole thing, and one at the end that I'm not going to spoil. She went out to get a carton of milk. She comes home, and that's when the crooked cops looking for the drug money, looking for the drugs from her family, her father. Bang
Mm-hmm.
bang, whole family gone. She comes back with the milk. She's walking past her door slowly, right? She looks in, doesn't want to go in because dudes with guns standing outside, right? It's like
Of course.
whoever get the whole family, right? So she walks straight ahead. Leon, the professional, he don't want to deal with this. He's trying to stay low key. He's an assassin, right?
Yeah.
Remember, if you've seen Killer on Netflix, you don't want nobody knowing who you are. You don't want that. You
Yeah.
want to be
Great movie.
anonymous at all times. So he's going through his head. He has a gun in his hand, looking through the peephole, seeing everything that's happening. And she's like crying silently because you don't want to make noise. You don't want to alert, who.
Yeah.
The people standing outside her door. And the guy outside his door is getting like curious, like, who is that? Like starting to put eyes on her. And you see from the other side of the door, he's racking his brain. Should I open the door? Should I not? I don't want to deal with this. Da, da, da. And then you see her face. She's crying. And then the light shines on her face because he opens the door from, and you can see like looking at an angel. She's like so relieved that he opened the door for her. Wow, that was just great cinematography. I don't even know what else. It was just a
The
great
artistry.
scene, the artistry,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, long story short, she wants him to teach her how to be an assassin for revenge on what they did to her family.
Yep.
And I'll leave it at that.
Great movie. Great
Love
movie.
that.
Still trying to get it on Steelbook. It's a little expensive, but I'm
Oh,
bidding.
speaking of, I got the poster.
Oh yeah, I noticed you had that poster back there for a while, and I was like, yeah, I gotta talk about Liam Professional. Phenomenal film. Something I might do a watch along of that. We might do a watch along of that, man.
I think you should.
That'll be fun.
I'll watch along. Shoot.
Let's see what the chat is saying. James McAvoy should have won an Oscar for his performance.
I believe it. Especially
I heard
Split.
that.
He didn't win anything for that, did he?
Because it was a horror movie, so they're not.
Oh, they were hating on it.
Yeah, they don't. You have to be like a highbrow horror movie for them to not like Hereditary, but like Split is not. So they weren't going to do that. It was not marketed as part of Unbreakable, which was a great move on their part. Yep.
Yeah.
He hasn't seen The Professional before. Doesn't have young Natalie Portman.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Gary Oldman is one of the bad people.
Oh my God, how can I forget? My man, you know how Gary Oldman has like these crazy outbursts?
Yeah.
Well, you get him in his prime in this movie.
Prime
He's
outburst.
The craziest dude.
Yep, latchkey kids grow up quick. Facts.
Shout out to my latchkey kids.
He said, I think I heard about this watching a Looper video. Nice. 100% McAvoy should have won an Oscar. Yeah, he should have definitely got an Oscar for this. They need to start recognizing horror movies because sometimes that's the best performances of the year.
Wow.
Okay, so that was your final film for your teenage years?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm noticing, most of the films in your young years were kid films, as they should be, and I see that you got into a little bit more violent stuff in your teenage years, as most teens get into. You get into more fantasy oriented, but in a different way. Like your Knight's Tale, your Matrix,
and those are just the movies I talked about, y'all.
Yeah, it was just the movie you talked about, the ones that led you on the path. Yeah, of course, I can imagine. Man. And all these have more mature themes compared to what you told me before.
Yep.
And I'm glad that you don't have like a big disappointment in this section. But no marketing that fooled you.
Right. No. Because so I guess in this portion of my life, like teen years, and even like ending high school, it was like I was watching the movies that I wanted to watch, and it was like I was watching movies that sparked my interest based on what I was doing back then, martial arts and I'm a dude, so cool stuff. You know what I mean? It's like I want to see it all stylized. So
and you also have the internet, like we were talking about,
and we have the internet. You know what I mean?
You can watch trailers and talk to other people.
Exactly.
So, gotcha. Okay, so we're getting into college/adult years.
Yes.
Getting to the modern age. What's the first film on that list?
Wow. Okay. So I'm gonna go with Iron Man first.
Good choice.
Iron Man. Still my favorite MCU movie.
Wow.
Till this day.
Damn, I don't have that on here.
Okay.
How do I not have that on here?
Oh yeah.
Keep talking.
You're gonna definitely want to cue that up. But no. So Iron Man. This is when we first hearing about the MCU, or what's becoming the MCU, the first film ever, right? And this was I remember watching it and I fell in love with Robert Downey Jr., his performance. Um, but I remember that during this time the Iraq War was happening, and President Bush and Iraq and 9/11 and all this stuff. Wait, was it
Mhm.
9/11? No, it wasn't 9/11.
No, yeah, it's because
War stuff.
wait, yeah, war stuff.
Because didn't 9/11 that happened in 2001, right?
Yeah,
Lord
yes,
God, I don't even know when it happened. But but you can see like in the movie, um, it was influenced by like current events. So they had
yeah,
him being taken by ISIS or whatever was at the
Al
time, right?
Qaeda,
Exactly, right. The
whatever.
the the 10 rings, right?
Yeah,
Um, but it was definitely a heavy military-esque type movie.
yeah,
Um, but I remember like seeing the suit on and everything. And mind you, I know nothing of Iron Man at this point. I wasn't reading
yeah,
his comic books, didn't see him in any cartoon shows up until this point, but I knew they were trying to do something with the Avengers. At that time, it was super new. I was like, let me just see the first film of this and what they're giving us, right? And I fell in love with it. It was such a good movie. Um, and I think part of it was the technology that he was using, and being able to kind of build something that makes you do the impossible. I think
mhm.
that's the
Little
thing,
Rascals.
and he had the brains to do it. You know what I mean? Um, it was just a cool film.
Yeah,
It's
man.
just dope. Yeah.
It started something that's affected everyone's lives in this chat that's watching
Right.
right now, me and you both. I remember watching the Iron Man show from the 90s when they were doing all the superhero animated shows.
Gotcha. Yep.
I actually really liked that show because he was so different from everybody else. He was this asshole. He
Hmm.
wasn't likable. He
Yep.
was
Right.
alcoholic. A lot
Exactly.
of the traits that he has in the MCU, but Robert Downey Jr. added some stuff that they eventually added in the comics and made him more likable by just making him a wise ass.
Right.
And I think that elevated the character because Iron Man was. You see how you say you didn't read it in his comics. A lot of people weren't
Hmm.
reading his comics. His comics got canceled all the time, and
Yeah.
cartoons. The '90s cartoon wasn't that big.
Right.
Um, Iron Man was a C level superhero in the
Hmm.
comics, even with Civil War happening and how big he was a part of that. He still wasn't a huge character people read even after that event ended.
Mm.
It wasn't until Robert Downey Jr. took over and they remodeled the character to look like him in the comics,
Right.
where he became this A-list character. Now he's almost on the level of a Spider-Man.
Right.
So I could see how like big that is. And it's interesting because you talk about Unbreakable, right? That's a superhero, maybe kind of comic booky kind of
Right.
film. Did you ever realize like that Iron Man is like a similar film to like Unbreakable in terms of they're both kind of comic booky superhero films, or there was never that correlation between those two?
No, there was never a correlation like that. But I think watching Unbreakable, when the superhero genre, I guess, started,
Yeah.
I had I guess some experience with that world, if that makes sense. Even
Mm.
though Unbreakable isn't a comic book or anything like that,
Yeah.
they were talking about comic books and superheroes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very
So
influenced by it.
right, exactly. So, you know, yeah, I don't even know, man. I think I think that, during this time, oh, that's what it was. So during this time, I'm now entering college, and what I went to college for was animation and computer technology.
Mhm.
So when Iron Man came out, I as I'm not going into the line of work, but what I chose to do,
Mhm.
I wanted to see also how the film animation worked as well. So like everything on from the suit and everything. It was like that was all 3D animated, you know,
Mhm.
in post. So as I'm in college learning about post production, I'm learning about um
Mm.
you can add things later. You know what I mean? I had a better understanding of how Iron Man was made because I knew all this stuff about animation and how things work in production alone.
Yeah.
That, it kind of it's like I saw it from a different angle almost, and there's something that KRS-One actually said, not a rap, but he was giving a lecture. He said, you can walk into a room with white walls, white ceiling. A painter can walk in and see something completely different. They'd be like, oh, this is perfect for
Mhm.
painting, XYZ. But then a plumber can come into the same exact room and see a completely different room. So, like, it's
Mm.
like, yeah, okay, so the pipes are going from the light down, because they know what they're talking about, right?
Yeah.
So I think with Iron Man, although most people took it as a great action film, comic book, whatever, I was looking at it in the lens of an animator. I was looking
Mm.
at it like, okay, how do they get all these pieces to work together? You know what I mean? I was like trying to figure it out. Um, whether what program they used, you know what I mean? Like stuff like
Yeah.
that to get that done. So I was looking at it from a different lens, even way back then. Yeah.
And that ties into your Matrix point, you know? Remember you
Yeah.
said you and your friends going like, "How did they do this?"
Exactly.
And
Yep.
now you're jumping into that field, and
Right.
Iron Man comes out, and it's even more of a greater feat to me than the
Yep.
Matrix
Yep.
in
Yep.
terms of like how did they make the suit? How does it look real? That's very
Exactly.
interesting. That's a very
Yep.
interesting tie-in
It
and
looked
why
real,
it's
man.
influenced.
It was
Because a
like it
lot of
was
people
like
talk about Iron
shiny.
Man. Yeah, everybody talk about Iron Man. Everyone brings up Iron Man as one of their most influential films. That and The Dark Knight
Oh,
because
yeah.
of the things that Iron Man did starting the MCU. How great of even if it didn't create the MCU, it's just a great film on its own.
Right. Exactly.
It
Mhm.
reminds me of The Rocketeer. I don't know if you ever seen that
Oh,
movie.
yes. I actually saw that late in life.
Yeah,
I saw that, I was a grown man before I saw that. Um, but yeah, exactly. Exactly.
yeah. I'm planning on having a
Say no
stream like
more.
this where someone interviews me on my movies. I'm still trying to figure that out. And Rocketeer is definitely going to be up there.
I
That's a
might, I
movie I
might,
watched a lot.
I might help you out, man.
Appreciate
We
that.
might do something.
Yeah, yeah.
You
I
never
might,
know.
I might have multiple people come in. I'll see how that works out, but that's a little hint of something that's going to
That'd be
happen
dope.
next year. I still want to get a lot of you guys on here and talk about your experiences. So from Iron Man,
Yeah.
starting a whole universe and influence you in a way that's really beautiful because you're in school for it. I think that a lot of people who are in animation and VFX and all this different stuff was fascinated by the film. What's the next film that grasped you at when you were in college that fascinated you?
Yes. So since we're on the superhero train, I'm gonna put up the Incredible Hulk next. And this is
Ooh,
the one
that's a
with
surprising pick.
this is the one with Edward Norton.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely love this film. Now, I will say that there was a Hulk movie before this with Eric Bana.
Vanna, yeah.
I was not feeling that at all. I went to the movies, see that with my friends, and someone in the theater literally said what it was on everybody's mind. They screamed out more Hulk action.
Yeah,
That movie did not do it for me. But this one, the Edward Norton Hulk, I got to see a
yeah,
lot more Hulk action. He
yep.
wasn't comic accurate. You know what I
No,
mean? He wasn't comic accurate. Like he looked like a linebacker. Let's be honest.
yeah,
Um, but still, I thought it was cool. You know what I mean? We got
yeah.
more Hulk action than what we got in the previous Hulk film, if you want to call that a Hulk film. And this also tied into the MCU they were building. And at the very end,
Yeah,
you saw who? Iron Man.
yep,
So that was when I was like, okay, they're doing something. You know what I
yep.
mean? So I got excited about that, and I couldn't wait till the next one. But yeah, I'm not talking about the next one because that was Thor, and I did not like that too hot. But yeah, I did not like it like that.
Oh,
But
man. He said,
this
yeah, he
one was
does look like a
great. He
linebacker.
looked like a linebacker, y'all.
That's pretty funny. That's the first time I've heard somebody talk about that, and that's what I love about doing this. To think about how the Incredible Hulk can just continue that like, oh my god, they're really doing this. Like we got Iron Man, but
Mhm.
now they're tying it in, and also the fact that you saw the Eric Bana one, and you're like, oh, and then you see this
Right,
one, you're like,
exactly,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
more like what I was looking for. It reminded me of the Incredible Hulk, and this always goes back. I used to watch all these animated shows. The Incredible
Oh,
Hulk animated show from the 90s.
okay. Yep.
What such a great show. I really wish that they took a lot of the storylines from that movie, well, that show, and made
Yeah.
movies about them. But Universal's being a bunch of punks. A lot of it was set up in this, Edward Norton film. Him being on the run, Betty's father chasing him, and all these different things. I think that that could have been greatly adapted if they had the chance to do that. But yeah, Incredible Hulk
Yeah.
is an underrated film, like Toxic Gamer said. A lot of people hate on it, like it's trash. It doesn't look as nice as other MCU films, and it's
Right.
not as complicated as other MCU films, but it's still a good time.
And you know what, Zach? It's like even during the time watching it, the look because listen, guys, when we're watching Eric Bana's, um, there you go, T. When we're watching Eric Bana's, he's like a green fluffy teddy bear almost.
Mm,
It's like he's made of putty or something.
yeah, he does look like that.
And like, why are you fighting a cloud? Anyway, I don't even want to talk about that movie. But this one looked way better than that one. Now you're absolutely correct because it's not the best looking, thing. But there's a scene where he protects Betty from the helicopter and
Yeah,
then takes her to like the mountainous area. Right, it's raining, and you can see the rain like dripping off of his shoulder.
so it makes him feel
He's like
real.
sitting there breathing, and like even a muscle spasm happens. I'm like, what the hell? And it looked real.
Yeah,
Like for the time for it looked real. And I was like, yo, he looks like she's sitting there with the Hulk. It was crazy.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
When they
So
put love and care into the VFX,
exactly. Yep. But oh my god, it's like I just wish they would make the movies like they did back then. Why wouldn't you do that? Just
they
I
were
mean,
they were churning
come
out less
on,
movies back
man.
then. So I think that's the problem.
Sheesh.
When they were doing 2 movies a year, it was easier.
Hey, Dark. Dark's
Hey
back.
man, what's up? Welcome back, man. So we're moving on to we did Iron Man, we did some little MCU action. What's up next?
Yes. Okay, American Gangster.
Ooh, I've seen this. All
Denzel
right.
Washington, y'all.
Yeah, man. One of the goats. Talk about it.
And
American
right.
Gangster.
So this movie talks more to my musical uh
Mm-hmm.
taste. And like I said, I was rapping during this time. I had a group, it was called what we call ourselves? It was Evil Genius Society.
Ooh, I like that.
And I remember shout out to the Evil Genius. I was with my boy Zandy Lay, aka Broken Pen. He still raps actually.
Ooh,
And
that's a dope name.
he's his story alone I could talk about, but let me talk about American Gangster because long story short with him, he used to be the worst rapper in the group of friends that we had because he
Yeah.
was like off beat a little bit. But
Like a
then
blue face.
he he fixed it and he's still rapping to this day. Most of our friends that we knew aren't even rapping like that no more.
I gotta interrupt you since you said
This
that.
day, to this day, to this day.
I love that. Yeah, it's so funny.
No, but then he ended up being one of the best rappers from our friend group.
Mm,
So his story alone is inspiring to me. Shout out to Broken Pen if you're watching.
fact. Shout out to Broken Pen. That's a dope ass rap name.
Yep.
But what about
But,
American Gangster
but
that
yes, yes.
inspired you?
So I didn't even know during the time. So really, if you go to Jay Z,
Mm-hmm.
that's the reason.
Gotcha.
Because as a rapper, he did the soundtrack to this movie.
Yes, one
I
of my
was
favorite
I was
albums.
like, yep, hell or high water, I'm watching this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then you learn the story because this is based on a true story of like the drug deals and stuff like that, and crack was big in the 80s and going into the 90s. So people in different positions would make a lot of money. Russell Crowe was also good in this. I don't think he was I think Denzel took the cake.
Yeah.
But Russell Crowe was a good I wasn't feeling him too hot, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
But overall, I think this is a good movie. Talking about a rise of a kingpin and a downfall of a kingpin. So I actually you get both in this movie, the rise and fall.
Is this your first gangster film?
Oh, say again?
This is your first gangster film?
Gangster film? No, because I mean I've seen like Friday, Boys in the Hood before this.
Okay.
But I think because of the musical aspect of it, that I was really drawn to this. Yeah.
Kenny's going crazy in the comics. With no police now. No police now. I've heard that quote before so many times, man. But that movie is great. So what you mentioned about they're popping out more movies this time, I guess I do think it's a big problem. We need to slow it down and make it good.
Yeah. And you know what, dark movies, I have a feeling that because they talked about this, Disney, Iger, Feige, they said that they're looking to slow down. And I think the reason they was speeding up, or the excuse they're using, is one, Bob Chapek was in power and he was telling everyone pretty much quantity over quality. Let's just get it out because during COVID, you had to keep people entertained somehow. But I think they didn't stop that once COVID ended and just kept on with it, and it didn't do well for them. But fingers crossed, because I think they do fully want to fix this. I believe it in my heart. I think they truly do want to stop losing money. But I have a feeling like they even said they have plans to slow down. And like we're only getting Deadpool 3 next year, 2024, and maybe another one.
A bunch of shows.
It's mostly going to be Echo and yeah. So I have a feeling that they're trying to put themselves on the right track. I'm glad for that comment. Yeah.
The loudest one in the room is the weakest one in the room.
Facts. But then Kenny. Oh, sorry. Oh, are you on IMDb just putting out all the quotes?
I think he probably knows this from heart. No one, Kenny?
I know. He probably memorized this. Oh, the alpaca. You gonna shoot me, Frank? In front of these people? You gonna shoot me, Frank?
That's a great Denzel impression.
I don't think Denzel said it. But oh no, that was Idris Elba's part. That was Idris Elba's part because he watched the movie, y'all.
Yeah, great film. All-star cast. Carl
All-star,
Gugino, Russell Crowe, Brolin.
That's before I knew Idris Elba was Idris Elba.
Yeah, Norman Reedus was in this. It's crazy. Cuba Gooding Jr., T.I.
12 Years a Slave was up in here.
Yeah, Chitwell.
Ejiofor.
Yeah, Anthony Hamilton. Common. I knew I saw Common.
Common was in there. Yep. And you already
RZA.
know. Jay-Z probably got him that role.
Of course. RZA too? Of course. He was like, you gotta get the homies in there. Gotta get the
RZA.
rappers.
Oh, RZA was in there? Oh, snap.
It's Moses Jones. Yeah, so really good all-star cast. Dope as hell.
Yep.
He said, dang, a lot of people in American Gangster. Yeah, classic film, man. Go check it out.
Yep.
Okay, going from American Gangster influenced you a lot because of the music, just like A Knight's Tale and Hercules, that thread continuing on as you grow older.
And you know what? And you know what, Zach? It's like from the childhood into the teens, it's like the musical aspect. It's like no matter what movie I watch, that's always a part of it for me. It's like if like for instance, I didn't put it on the list, but Baby Driver.
Ooh,
you know what I mean? It's like one of those, like whenever they try to incorporate the music, I appreciate it so much more. And I'm looking for that. You know what I mean? It's like just based on the previous films that I might have watched in my life, but the way that they incorporated music into Baby Driver, so dope. So dope.
That's like Edgar Wright's Edgar Wright's thing. Like he loves
That's his
incorporating
thing.
music in his films. Yeah,
I
Scott
need to go.
Pilgrim, Last Night in Soho. It's like a big
Okay,
part.
gotcha. I might have to go watch some of his films then. Yep.
Yeah, he makes really good film. Even his like Last Night in Soho is not like it doesn't blow you away. And a lot of people thought it was going to, but it's a very still creative film. Like it's worth a watch.
I see. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I will do. Put that on my list.
Yeah. What's the next film up?
So the next one is Unleashed. So
Okay,
during
this
this
is one I've
time,
never heard of.
yeah. So during this time, this is where I'm getting up to my black belt, right? But I'm in college, and I think, or as a matter of fact, no, I think I got my black belt when I was 18. So that was before college, anyway, or 19 actually. Anyway, doesn't matter. Unleashed. Jet
See if I can look
Li
this up.
in a
Oh, there's a Jet Li
role,
film.
and also, daggone, hold on, let me give me a second, guys.
This movie right here.
Yes. Bob Hoskins. That's the name I was looking for. I've never
Is that
seen.
Morgan Freeman? Oh, no,
That's
a different
Morgan
movie.
stinking Freeman, y'all.
Wow.
I've never seen Jet Li in a role like this or Bob Hoskins in a role like this before. Now, mind you, what I've seen from Jet Li is I was watching all the classics, y'all, all the classic martial arts films. I got all his classics, right? I was watching him. That's who he is to me. Bob Hoskins, I've seen in the Mario movie, the Mario's Brothers movie that people hate on every day, but I love that movie.
Me too.
I love that movie. It had nothing to do with the video game, but it's still a good movie to me. And it was Hook. So Hook was a Steven Spielberg film where it talks about Peter Pan growing up and he has to get his kids back from Captain Hook. That's just another one I didn't put on the list, but that was like, I've never heard a story like that before. Anyway, Bob Hoskins, those are the only two roles I knew him from. In Unleashed, he is absolutely a gangster, a bodman. Put it short. He's a bodman. He's manipulative. He controls Jet Li's character. Speaking of Rufio, yeah, I know. I said Hook, and now everyone's talking about Rufio. I know. But Jet Li has always been like that strong strength figure in like his movies, right?
Yeah.
But in this one, he was like a little child, he was like a dog, literally. Like Bob Hoskins in the movie takes him when he's a child and pretty much makes him into a dog to do his bidding, teaching him how to fight. So he's like his muscle. The thing about Unleashed, the reason why it's called Unleashed is because, wow, y'all need to really watch this movie. But
I started thinking about it.
Like a business deal and it goes sour, he would call Danny, Jet Li's character, in, and Danny, he's like somber, like he doesn't talk. He's just like that. He talks right in the movie, but it's like he's just there. He has the collar. He has the collar around his neck.
Yeah.
When the collar's on, you're safe.
Yeah.
But when he unleashes him, when he takes the collar off, he's kicking everybody's ass.
Yeah, like Kal-El said, yeah.
I don't care who you are. Everybody's getting dealt with. And if you try to hit him, oh my gosh, he would be like, he unleash him and say, go get him or something like that, whisper in his ear. And then like, but he like gets, oh my God, it's so dope. I'm sorry, I got to see this again. But it's like,
yeah, that's the most emotional I've seen you this whole
I know, y'all. It's so cool. It's so dope, y'all. It's so dope. The story that is told with this movie, never seen it before in any martial arts film, anything. It was a very unique film. And Morgan Freeman, his role is trying to help Danny out of his situation. Okay, I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
But Unleashed, oh my God. Every time he took that thing off, he told him to go get him. And he just turned into a beast, an animal. And he would treat him like that. He would like make him sleep, in like a cage. All he had was a punching bag that was like ripped, you know what I mean? Because he'd been punching it since he was a child, it was raggedy. Oh my God, this was just a great story. And there was even a scene. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I know I'm rambling, but there's one scene that I absolutely loved where Bob Hoskins is in trouble, but Danny's too far away. He can't unleash him. So you see him getting his butt kicked, you know what I mean? And he
Yeah.
can't like unleash him to get him to help. Oh my gosh. Just watch this movie, y'all. Find it and watch it. Highly
Wow.
recommend. And rant.
And you what is it on? What the hell is this?
I don't even
What's
know.
this streaming service?
So like I see Hulu, it says YouTube Premium. I guess you have to pay for that.
Yeah.
But I mean I got
So
the
it might be on Hulu.
Blu-ray, y'all. I got the where is it?
I
got
might
the
have to
Blu-ray
cop
over
that.
here.
I might have to cop that.
So good.
Yeah, so he said he's gonna add it to his watch list. He
Oh
said,
man.
he said gotta add it to that reaction.
But I'm like, he's trying to figure out his past and stuff like that. Oh my gosh. It's so good. It has a
He
heart.
says
And I
amazing.
actually, this is another movie I cried. I was in the theater. Who was I with? Was I with I think I was with my now wife, then girlfriend, or whatever we were back then. But I remember just like tearing up. You know how dudes try to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was tearing up. I was like, nah, son, like, nah, it was popcorn. Popcorn.
Now something flew in my eye. And she
But
looked
it
at
was
him like,
great.
oh, he is emotional. I'm gonna
He's like,
marry
oh,
him.
he's been touched.
She's like, this is what you get you, the action movie?
The action movie made you cry?
Not that sad movie we watched a couple weeks. No. The action movie. That's hilarious.
That's funny, man.
Thank you to putting me on to that, because that sounds amazing.
You're gonna
It's
love
the kind
it.
of movie that I would like to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Another martial arts film, but that's very different and that's influenced you.
Right.
Love the threads here.
Yep.
So let's thread this to the next film. What's another
All
movie?
right. So I'm gonna go with I have two left, but I'm like,
Which one to save for last?
yeah. Okay, let's go with Pineapple Express first. And then we'll get to the last one.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Another film I've never seen.
What?
I know I probably spelled pineapple wrong, but Pineapple
Panoply.
Express. There we go. Save. Bada bing, bada boom.
Oh, there you go.
Classic.
So Pineapple Express, guys, this is different from everything I actually talked about because this is Seth Rogen comedy. It's so funny, T. You are absolutely right. As a matter of fact, I just came up with. Let me write that down. Anyway,
came up with an idea just now
with a segment idea. Anyway, yes, but this was. Now this isn't like the first movie of its kind that I've seen. So like the Adam Sandlers and all the other, you know what I mean, like the goofy comedies. I've seen those.
The weed commies.
Right, and How High. So during this time, it's college. I was into it, and this was one of those movies that if you did partake, you watched it. And I hope I don't get arrested. No,
we don't know what you're talking about, so that's fine.
This, little Zaza. You know what I mean? Little Zaza.
Yeah, I hear you. Is that a young Amber Heard? Oh shoot.
Yeah. When the trial happened, I forgot she was. I didn't even know who she was in this. And so when the trial with Johnny Depp and all that, I was like, oh, she was in Pineapple Express. They were saying she was in Pineapple Express. I'm like, oh, okay. Did not know that. But these two, just the greatest duo. And Danny, I forgot his last name. He was this was actually my first introduction to if you scroll down, the dude with
here.
the thing on his neck. No. So like, yeah, him. I forgot his
This one?
name. Danny something. No,
McBride.
I know him. I know him. Craig Robinson. I know him.
You
But
talking
it
about
was
Danny McBride?
no. If you scroll down, like the picture right below the one you chose. Yeah, Danny McBride. Sorry, yes,
Yeah.
him. My first introduction to this guy, he made me cry laughing with the stuff that was going on. Oh man. My favorite tea. So my favorite scene is when they're in his house and he's talking about him shaving. He's like, make him more aerodynamic when he fights. I was dying, dude. Oh man.
That's hilarious. Dark movies like me has never heard of this film. Of course, Calla has to say, "Oh my gosh, shocker! Zach hasn't seen it." He said, "For a second, I got confused with the interview." No, it's not the interview. But it makes sense because Seth Rogen and James Franco make a lot of movies together.
Mm-hmm.
Seth and James are a match made in heaven. Yeah, James Franco's in it too. Yep.
James Franco.
Why is there so much Express? Polar Express, Pineapple Express, Panda Express. People like this stuff fast, man.
Yeah. I mean, Pineapple
Clean the Amber Heard from
Express.
Aquaman.
Pineapple Express is just a strain that they were selling. Yeah.
Eastbound Down is a classic Danny Ryan. It's so funny. Yeah, man. So
Mm.
what about this comedy influenced you for that? In terms of why is
Well,
it so important in all the other weed comedies?
I think see, it's not necessarily this movie that did the influencing, but there was like a new culture that I was a part of, especially in
Okay.
college. And this was just, a part of that lore. So it's funny because even when I, am kind of experimenting with growing up and things of that nature, I think that this was helpful into understanding that world, if I can say it like that. Yeah,
Gotcha.
without going to jail.
Another question. Put you on your
Uh-oh.
spot. What's the first film that gave you a passion for comedy?
Ooh, wow. Ooh. Passion for comedy.
Since we're on that, just because it's the real only like comedy
Right.
that you put on the list.
Yeah.
Everything else has kind of
yeah.
like jokes in it, but this is the
Right.
first pure comedy.
So I'll say Billy Madison. Billy Madison.
Before you continue, hold on. Hey, Dark Movies, thank you for being here so late. I know it's
Thanks,
like super
man.
early in the morning
Thanks,
for you
man.
because he's in Norway.
You're a trooper. Thank you so much just for being here with us, Dark.
One of the best Zack Attack Nation members I could have. And everybody go sub to Dark Movies. He's awesome. Does a lot of hilarious skits. If you guys saw my dream scenario review, I did a skit inside of that review inspired by him. Because he does so much. I watched his Godzilla one, had me dying on the floor. So you have a good night. Talk to you soon. I'm definitely gonna have you up here eventually. But I appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, talk about Billy Madison.
Yeah, so I mean, Billy Madison, it was like that was the first time that I've seen movies like that, I guess. Not like that. I can't say that, but it was like that was just so it was such a comedy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then not Billy Madison, calling him Billy Madison, Adam Sandler. So those films really laughing out loud, you know what I mean? And but it was like funny, but it had a moral high ground at certain points of the film, you know what I mean? But his movies, I'm talking about like Billy Madison. What was the other one? Billy Madison when he's in school. There was like
This is the golf one that I
Waterboy.
love so much.
The golf one, yes, that's the one. Happy Gilmore.
Happy. Oh, that's my shit. That's one
Happy
of my
Gilmore.
favorites.
So like those made me laugh out loud for real.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Happy Gilmore.
Let me see.
Billy Madison, it's been a while since I've seen, but I still remember it being funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And then we got one last film.
Yes.
What is
So
serving up the main event of your adulthood?
yes. So this one has ties to both my childhood, my teen, and my adult years. So this is the
Love it.
perfect one to end on. Sweeney Todd. And this
Okay.
one features Johnny Depp
Johnny Depp.
and a
Yeah.
few other great actors and actresses. But the reason why this one took a hold of me so much was that when I was growing up and the weekends that I stayed with my aunt, because my aunt is like my great aunt, right? Is really my mother's aunt.
Okay.
So she was my grandmother's sister. However, whichever way you want to make the connection, just make the connection.
Yeah.
But she had a
Your
lot of
great aunt.
older
Yeah.
movies and a lot of older like musicals too. So I was watching Roger and Hammerstein like Oklahoma, My Fair Lady, um, Sound of Music, like things like that, King and I, stuff like that. Like growing up, like, but mostly when I was over there with her. She had this one VHS tape that was a recording of Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street, but it was
Yeah.
the London version because I believe it starts on like not I say Broadway, but it starts in the theater over there in London, and I think it came over to America. That's how I think it happened.
Mm,
But so I saw I'm sorry guys, I don't know what they have over in London, but I say Broadway, I just mean the theater. So I
yeah.
saw the Broadway rendition of it, or
This one.
right there, exactly. And if you scroll, like yeah, so that's actually perfect. So I saw this on tape like earlier in my years. So when the movie came out with Johnny Depp and directed by Tim Burton, one of my favorite directors, I had to see this, right? Um, and I enjoyed it. It was similar to what I remember the theater one being, but this one it's a film. It brings it to life, more
Mm,
detail,
mm,
XYZ,
more cinematic.
Um so and it had the Tim Burton twist on it, and this was the perfect uh I guess theater show to be
Mhm.
made by Tim Burton because it's
Like
dark.
a
It's
play,
supposed to be
you
dark.
mean? That's what you're
Exactly, the
talking about?
play.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be dark. And I
Yeah.
think he did a great job with this. I actually do want to see the newest one on Broadway. I don't think he's in it anymore. The
Oh, okay.
Things kid. I think he bowed out. Um,
Gotcha.
but I want to see the new one on Broadway. So
Gotcha. So how does it you brought up earlier ties into your child, your
yes.
teen and your adulthood? What aspects? Because ingenuity,
Hmm.
music, and action are like the main themes that we've gotten from what you
Right.
love. And not
I,
being fooled.
right.
You don't
So
like
I mean,
false advertisement.
right. Because when I'm talking about this film, I feel like it's so for instance, like growing up, I was watching a lot of older movies because that's all I could watch at my aunt's house.
Yeah.
And in my teen years, I'm seeing things like Kung Fu Hustle and things of that nature, right?
Yeah.
But this movie, it it one ties into what I grew up watching, which are musicals, Broadway, or like Broadway show toony type movies. And I think what it is it's a different aspect of my life.
Mm,
So, but then also like even with the Little Rascals, just like with the Brady Bunch that also came out in the 90s,
yeah.
these are renditions of older films or older shows that we, know about.
Yeah.
So this one was just a rendition of a musical that I knew about. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And being able to kind of see it on the silver screen.
Yeah.
Um, so it has a lot of angles to it. One being the nostalgic, um, being at my aunt's in the Bronx, um, being at home in Jersey, watching the Brady Bunch
Play.
and Little Rascals,
Mm-mm.
all of that. But also, I think this also helped me to understand and appreciate theater as well.
Mm.
So, because up until that point, I've seen like Cats on Broadway, which I actually enjoy Cats, y'all. That's a hot take. I actually like the movie.
I was shocked that you didn't put this on there for that hot take.
I know,
but,
I know, but it's like because there's so many movies, man.
Yeah, I know.
There's so many ways. But Sweeney Todd, I actually remember watching this on a VHS tape. But I think it built my fascination with and appreciation for Broadway shows and
Mhm.
theater.
Gotcha. Okay.
And
So
that's
it
where I
tied
am
into
now.
all the things that you love when you were growing up,
Right.
while also um introducing you to something new. So all
Exactly.
the different things that you love about film, just all in one film.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
That's absolutely beautiful. Sweeney Todd's a film that I have not seen. Part of it was because it felt like it was just Edward Scissorhand again, but I just
That's
read
what
the
I
synopsis.
I got. I can see how you can get those vibes. But it's
Yeah,
Tim
I don't.
Burton. It's Tim
Yeah,
Burton,
it's
yeah.
just similar look, but a completely different story.
Right.
So definitely something I want to check out. But this has been amazing so far. So to end it off, I want to just do some rapid fire questions, 21
Awesome.
questions.
Let's go. Yeah.
Actually, right before I do that, I had some starred questions that people wanted to say. So let's see what they're saying in the live chat, and then ask those questions. Then we'll do the rapid fire, and then I'll wrap this up because it's been really, really fun. Hey
Movie time
DJ,
minutes.
what's up,
What's up,
man?
man?
Thank
DJ.
you for
What's up,
joining the
man?
live stream. I appreciate you, man. Gates Matarazzo. I had no clue he was in Sweetie Todd Broad. I didn't know either until I looked it
Yeah.
up. That's why I love doing these, because you just learn about things that you would never learn about before.
And I haven't seen him in it, but apparently he did a great job.
Yeah, I'm not. I can see that he could be a great actor. He's just limited because I think he doesn't have a look that can make you a star, and also he's like a Stranger
Yeah.
Things kid.
Right.
Only Millie Bobby Brown so far has like come away from that, but that's also because she produces all those things. Like she's part
Right.
of the production company of all those things
Right.
except Godzilla. I thought I
Although,
was,
and
huh?
oh, no. I see T's comment. Yo, much respect, T. I think we're on this. We're here with it right now. Like I
Yeah,
love it, and thank you for staying for the whole thing. Jesus,
he's a trooper. T,
yo,
he's my guy. He's my guy.
wow, T. Hats off to you. But I think what was I gonna say? Oh, McLaughlin. What's his name? The black kid.
Caleb. Yeah,
Caleb
him
McLaughlin.
too. Him too.
So he's actually shout out to him. I'm
Yeah,
glad he's getting work. He's actually going
yeah.
to be in one of my most anticipated films of 2024, and that's the Book of Clarence. So he's
Oh
actually
yes,
working
the
with
Lakeith
Lakeith
Stanfield film.
Stanfield, and right. So I'm super happy to see him in that. Right.
Nice. I love Sweeney Todd, one of my favorite
Favorite musical movies. Yo, me and DJ, we should get together and do like a musical ranking or something. That would be beautiful.
That's a great idea for a
That'd
live
be
stream.
beautiful.
They definitely should set that up for 2024, or if
Mhm.
y'all even do it for the rest of this year.
Yep.
He said, "When I commit to a live stream, I commit."
I tell you that. Daggone.
He said that was a nice list. Screen Zen. Yeah, very
Thank you,
great.
man.
It's a very
Yeah.
different one. No typical movies you think. No Godfathers. No
Right.
Citizen
Yeah.
Kane.
I mean, I've
No,
seen all of those classics, guys, but when we're talking about like from different sections of your life, there's
yeah,
only you know what I mean? There's a lot of movies that you've seen that you might have liked, but there's a few that like hit your soul, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah. Sometimes it's
yeah,
not the popular ones. It's the
exactly.
least
And you
popular
might
ones.
have different reasons to like a movie based on the life you've lived.
Yeah, which
You
you
know?
give every single movie. It felt like there was a reason that tied to your family, to your interests,
Yep.
to your identity, or like improving yourself. And that's amazing that cinema could have that effect on someone.
Yep. That's why I love it.
Let's see. So he said Raid Redemption. Thoughts on that movie? You know, since you love martial arts, have you seen the Raid movies?
I have not. I have not seen The Raid. I
Based on
should
what
put
I'm
that on my
hearing,
list.
that sounds like something that would be right down your alley.
Okay. Definitely.
You know what? We might do a
Raid.
watch along because I've never seen it before either. We might do a watch along together.
That'd be dope. Yep. Yep. I'm
'Cause-
curious about that because I heard good things, just never had the time to do it,
yeah.
to watch it.
So there's gonna be rapid fire questions. Where are my questions at? Gonna give you like 10 seconds to answer these, right? 21 quick
Gotcha. Okay.
questions.
Oh, it's one of those.
Uh,
Okay. Gotcha.
Question number 1. What's your favorite movie?
Dag. Favorite movie? Dag. That's a crazy hard question. Favorite? Oh, What Dreams May Come.
Okay.
This is
What
hard, bro.
qualities do you look for in a great movie?
Qualities, good
Mhm.
story. Good story. Just
Okay.
make the story good.
What is a movie you wish you never watched?
Witches.
What are your top 3
Freaks
favorite
me
movie
out.
scenes?
Say again. Top favorite movie
Your top
scenes?
3 favorite movie scenes. Yeah.
Oh, so I named them here in the live stream. Some of them. Geez. Wow, this is hard, man.
I'm
There's so
gonna have to
much.
get the Jeopardy music for this section. Do, 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 do,
Yeah.
do,
Yo,
do, do.
yeah. No, is it movies like multiple movie scenes or like just my favorite?
Just 3. Just 3.
Just there's 3? Oh, 3. Good lord. Okay. 1 is Rufio scene in Hook.
Mhm.
2 is, let me see. Number 2 is in Adam's Family Values, which is actually the sequel to the Adams Family. The scene where they're the Native Americans
Okay.
and the meme where she strikes the match. And number 3, I would say, is Iron Man when he
Mhm.
is seeing the news and then trying to save the town. And he puts on the Iron Man suit, and that's where you fully see him in the red suit. And again,
Nice.
guys, this is just off the top of my head. I'm
Yeah.
sure I'm going to be kicking myself. I'm like, I didn't say that.
We just want the pure answers that come straight off the top of your head.
There we go.
What's your favorite genre of movies?
Wow. Favorite genre. Favorite genre. I will say I'll say action.
Action.
I'll
Okay.
say action.
That makes sense based on what you've
Yeah,
talked about so far.
action definitely.
After that, what do you think about animated movies? And a bonus part of that is animated movies, and a bonus part is, are they just for kids?
No. Yes. Wait, yes. Yes, I love animation
Movies.
because
Yeah.
that was my major. So it has
Mhm.
a very soft, place in my heart right there. But
Yeah.
what was the end tail of that question?
Do you think it's
Is
just
it just for kids? No. Animations are not just for kids. Have you ever seen a what's that one? The anime that made all animes. Which one? Akira.
Oh, that's
You know
not
what I mean? Like you can't tell me animation just for kids after seeing
yeah,
that one. Right?
exactly.
So
Good. That's
there's
a
a lot
good
like
pull.
that. Yeah.
Okay, we did this one. We did those 2. What films are you looking forward to watching?
Looking forward to
It could be a
watching.
classic film that you've never seen,
Hmm.
or a film that's coming out in 2024, or a movie you missed in 2023. Give us one of each. Classic film that you never seen, a film that you missed in
Hmm.
2023, and a film that you're anticipating for 2024.
So classic film. I want to check out Heist with Robert De Niro. I never actually got a chance to look at that.
Okay,
But I love heist movies. I love like the bank robbery. They're trying to figure it out, like
me too.
Ocean's 12. You know what I mean? Like I like those type of movies.
Yeah.
So this movie's called Heist. So
So,
I'm trying to check it out, see what I think of it. Now what's the second part?
so that's a classic movie. What's a movie that came out this year that you missed that you want to watch?
The Holdovers. Paul
Great
Giamatti
choice.
is one of my favorite actors. I saw him first when I was sneaking the movies when I was a child as a latchkey kid. Um, in the movie Sideways. And
hmm
even though I didn't understand a lot of what was happening or what was going on, his performance ever since that movie I saw was looking at his performances, moving even to the point where I'm watching like Fred Claus with Vince Vaughn because he was Santa Claus in that one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I love that movie too. But it was Paul Giamatti in that one, and but the Holdovers apparently is getting a lot of acclaim critically,
Great movie.
and I just got to see what he does in this, And I heard the woman that
Oscar
does the
worthy
supporting
performance.
actress, I heard that she does an amazing job. I just want to check this movie out. Yeah,
Yeah, the whole cast is really, really great. The supporting kid,
yeah.
he's great. Is his first role, and the
This is
actress is
his
great as
first
well.
role.
The kid, yeah, it's his first role.
Wow,
hmm
I like hearing that.
He did.
I
He
like
did. It didn't seem like it was his first time. He
that's
looked
what I'm
like he'd been
saying. It's
doing it.
like usually you could tell, but for being his first role and people talking about the movie the way they are, good on
Yeah.
him. That's great.
What movies would you recommend to a stranger to get to know you?
Oh,
If you could
Jesus.
pick one movie.
Yeah, it would have to be Hook.
Okay.
It would have to be Hook. Never grow up, but when you grow up, you got mad responsibility.
Yeah. What films do you think, or what film do you think should not have won Oscar for Best Picture? Oof.
Well, let me go to the thing. Hold on.
He's like, let me go
Bear
find these
with me,
trash
y'all.
ass movies.
I'm just
Interesting.
that
He
should
gave his
not
answer
have won.
Gladiator. Wow.
Ooh, Gladiator.
Now that's the big
Um,
one.
should not have won.
Toxic Gamer is surprised.
I mean, this is hard. Maybe the Green
Golden
Book.
Pond. The Green Book. Yeah, I hear that a lot
Yeah,
of
maybe
times.
the
People
Green
like,
Book. Wow.
I hear that a
These
lot.
questions, I love these questions. These questions make you think, boy.
Yeah, man. What else we got? You said Oscar. Oh, how long should a movie be?
Ooh, I think a movie should be as long as it needs to be.
Mm,
Because sometimes if I give like an hour and a half, sometimes you might not be able to tell a story in that length of time. And if it's too long, you told too much and
yeah.
we didn't need all that detail. You know what I mean?
Or it might get
Like
repetitive.
like like The Irishman, I did not like that movie. It was 3 hours long. We didn't need it to be 3 hours long. But
Yeah.
Killers of the Flower Moon, done by the same dude, I actually didn't feel the time. And it was still
Now
3
it's
hours.
longer.
No, it was longer, wasn't it?
It's 3 hours and 30 minutes.
So
Yep.
it's funny how like they're two separate things done by the same director, but I felt the time differently of both of them.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
It's all
but
about
I will,
repetitiveness and
yeah,
how they grasp you. If the movie
right,
is repetitive in a way, it's like, okay, I've already seen this so many times. Why is this movie so long? You could have wrapped this up
right,
already. But Killers of Flower Moon is so much to be told. Heck,
yep.
I don't even think it told enough as much as
It
it
didn't,
needed
right.
to.
I wanted to see more of the tribal stuff.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what
my
it
big
was.
problem with that film. Like it's masterfully made, but it's not great to me because of that. I know other
Right.
people love that movie and think it's great, but
Hmm.
for me, it's lower on my list because I just felt like it's repetitive in a way. But even with the repetitiveness, it's still like I was like, okay, I didn't see this aspect of this part
Right.
where it happened. I just wish we got a
Mhm.
more perspectives from the Osage.
Yep. Definitely. Definitely.
What have you learned from foreign films? So yeah, you don't have a lot of foreign films. Well, yeah, you have some. You don't have a lot. But what have you
Right.
learned from foreign films? Like you have Ong Bak on here,
Yeah.
Kung
So
Fu Hustle.
right. So I will say that with foreign films, I've learned that there's more than one way to make a movie.
Hmm.
There's more than one way. And and secondly, I will say it's not always I'm sorry, it's why I love film is because
Mm.
sometimes you don't know the language, but you know what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I feel like movies is the only one of the only mediums, very few that you can see something visually and it's universal. You understand. Oh, or there's a tension there, or there's a lightheartedness about it. There's a relief happening.
Mhm.
And it doesn't matter what language it's in. Like you can make people feel that. And that's what I
Yeah.
learned. Yeah.
Great. Beautiful answer, man. Let's see. What do you think of book to movie adaptations?
I like them if they're done right. Obviously, the book is going to have more detail, so that's why they
Mhm.
always say the same old adage: "Book is better than the movie." Sometimes it's
Mhm.
not,
Sometimes it's not.
but if I may, there's one movie that's kind of that I actually love, and it's from
The
a book that
Giver.
I had
Okay,
to
I've heard of
read
this.
in middle school.
Yeah.
So, The Giver. This is from uh, Taylor Swift's in this, which at the time I wasn't, she wasn't as big as what I mean, what she was, but
Yeah.
Jeff Bridges, Meryl Streep. But the thing that's different for me is that when I read the book, I was imagining what all of this looked like. But this movie actually put on the screen what I thought it was in my head.
Okay.
And without spoiling anything, I'm not even going to talk about the movie, just really quick. This is about a utopian society, or so they thought they built one. And there's no color in the world, and everyone has an assignment, a job. The giver, there's a giver and then a receiver. Those are just the only separate job. Like you can be a babysitter or something. I'm just throwing out terms, right? You could be a babysitter, but there's like 100 babysitters. There's 100 blacksmiths or whatever the job might entail. But there's only one giver. There's only one
Mm.
receiver. The giver's job is to give all the past memories of what life was like before they became a utopian society, and including color. So Jeff Bridges is teaching the kid what color is. And as he goes into different colors, you start seeing it in his world on screen. So if he teaches him about yellow, the film's in black and white, but then now you see little yellows on the flowers and maybe, on
Mhm.
here. He learns about green. Now you see green grass. Everything else is black and white except for the yellow and the green. It like builds on the color palette in the movie as he's learning. So you're actually learning with him almost. Beautiful.
That sounds.
Beautifully done.
I seen
So it gets
part
to
of
the
that
point.
movie when
Yeah.
I was working in a school, and it seemed very interesting.
Yep. And I mean, it gets to the point where obviously he learns most of the stuff and the whole movie's in full color and all of that. But just a revelation of how they did it is exactly how I did it when I read the book in middle school.
Nice. Hey, Frisky, what's up, man?
Hey, Fritz.
I actually have a live stream with him next week, Wednesday, on his channel,
Awesome.
where we talk about our top 10 directors of all time, which
Ooh, nice.
is going to
That's
be
gonna be a
hard
good
for me
combo.
since I'm a baby cinephile and haven't seen that
Nice.
much.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So a lot of my directors are newish.
Mm,
So that's going to be really interesting. I'm coming in where like a more fresh perspective, where I'm pretty sure they have like the heavyweights, but we'll
right.
see.
Yep. Yep.
We said The Professional definitely caught my eye from the thumbnail. One of the best action movies ever made.
Yep. One of my favorites, Frisk. Yep.
Yeah, we
Sure.
went deep into that. He said that dude, that's Jerome and Jeremiah from Gotham, just in case. Oh yeah, that's Cameron Mulholland. He was in The Giver, and he
Mm,
plays like a Joker character in the Gotham.
okay. Oh
Ooh,
yeah, he was in there. He
yeah,
was like one of the friends. He was
yep.
one of the friends that helped. He didn't like sell him out or anything.
Who? Let's see. Who? No, I'm gonna shorten this question. Who's your favorite
Mhm.
actor?
Ooh, wait, Jesus. Robin Williams.
Great answer.
Robin Williams.
One of the goats.
There's too many performances that he's done. Me growing up, me being a man, he was like damn near with me throughout my whole life.
Yeah, a lot of our
And
lives.
I think one of the first, I've cried during a lot of things, guys. Just don't be surprised, right? But it was like there's a movie called Jack to
Mhm.
where Robin Williams playing a child that is rapidly growing. He's like he's 7, but he looks like a man. You know what I mean? There's like a
Mm.
genetic thing that happened with him. But that movie was right up his alley because he was a funny type of guy, you know, acting like a kid was right up his alley. He did a great
I would
job
say
with
that.
it.
Yeah.
And then being yo T, absolutely. It was the end that got me because you know that the older he gets, he might not live to be an adult age because he
Mm.
is like every 7 years, every 1 year is like 7 years for him, like dog
Well,
years.
yeah, he's just like a dog. Okay.
But then it gets to a point where at the end of the film, he graduates high school and he's like an old 70-year-old man looking thing, but he gives a speech and it was just brought tears to my eye. I couldn't stop crying. Yeah.
Wow. That's another film I gotta add to the list. Sounds like something that I would love. Ooh, what is a movie that not many have heard about that you've already seen?
Mm. I mean, I feel like I said it on somewhere over here.
Mm.
Um,
Oh yeah, Ong Bak. Never heard of that. That was one big one.
yeah.
Unleashed.
Yeah. Oh man, I mean, that no one's like probably ever heard of. Hmm. I enjoyed "Bodied" by Eminem. That's more recent
Oh
because that's
wow!
battle rap.
I didn't even know
I've
he
been
was in
into
another
battle rap
movie.
ever since. I've been into battle rap since I was a kid, man.
Yeah.
So 8 Mile stuff like that. And as a rapper, I think "Bodied" was a modern take. It was like a modern 8 Mile because they have a lot of current battle rappers in it that I grew up pretty much watching them demolish people. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, but "Bodied," yeah,
He said no one saw that movie.
right.
So that was a perfect answer.
Yep.
What is the most visually stunning movie you've ever seen?
So that one is "What Dreams May Come."
Okay.
Beautiful. Now it was between that one and one of like Kung Fu Hustle, but I think and this is just off the top of my head too. "What Dreams May Come," because it was like he was in a painting
Mm.
and like he's learning things about where I'm not going to spoil it, but it was like he's learning about the new world that he got to, and he's like learning how to fly, and he's like learning that he's in a painting, and so that whole scene. But then you see other scenes where it's way different. But that movie, I'm not going to just explain it to y'all. But yeah, that one.
Nice. I love one of my big things, and whenever anybody interviews me for mines, visual part of the movie is very important to me, like
Mm.
cinematography, camera work. Like I'm watching this movie right now before we got on stream called Susie Searches that came out this year,
Hmm.
and it has one of my favorite actresses in it, Kiersey Clemens, and she was in The Flash. She was in She's been in a lot of small stuff. I guess the
Wait,
Flash is her biggest thing. She played
is she black?
Iris in the Flash. She's black.
Oh yeah, her. Yeah, I know that. I saw her first in Dope.
Yes. Oh,
I remember.
I love
I
that
remember
movie.
her. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's been around for a while. I kind of grew
Right.
up with her because Dope came out a while ago. She was
Hmm.
young then.
Right.
I think she's younger than me. But yeah, I'm a fan of her, and this is like the first time I've seen her star in a movie, and she's doing a great job. But the camera
Wow.
work and the cinematography for the level of film it is, because this is like a low budget ass film,
Mm-hmm.
but it's made with like high budget taste. If you know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, for sure.
The editing and stuff. So like, yeah. So the fact that you said that's the most visually stunning film you see, I gotta go check it out now.
Mm.
How did your passion for film start? I kind of have an idea of it, but when was that where you're like, I'm in, I love movies, I gotta, you know?
Right. I think it and you know what? That's hard because I can't pinpoint when,
Okay.
but I know growing up, like just being home alone, watching my movies and stuff like that, and even dipping into some of my mother's movies, which I should not have been watching. I think I think that I was exposed to a lot of different um, stories that pulled different emotions from me,
Mhm.
and the fact that I was able to feel that is what is building my love for movies, because it's not like I was just watching one genre, you know what I mean, of
A
movies.
bunch.
I was into a lot of different ones. So a lot of different stories, a lot of different feelings, happy, sad, terrified, whatever. But it showed me so much of a range of emotion within myself, just sitting down and not and you pop something in that you haven't seen before, you don't know what you might get. You might
Yeah.
think it's a silly movie, but then like you're crying at the end. Like, what was it? Click did that to me. So I was like, oh, it's an
Mm.
Adam Sandler movie. Da la la. That thing has some heart in it, boy.
Mm.
Um, so I can't really tell you when, but because I've had an eclectic taste, I guess,
Yeah.
or was able to expose myself to a lot of different types of movies, I think that's what strengthened my love for movies.
Beautiful answer. This guy just gave me all the beautiful answers.
A
Okay,
lot of
on the
quotes.
opposite spectrum of this one, the last two questions. The opposite spectrum of this. What movie genre do you dislike the most?
Ooh. I will
What's the
say
genre where you're like, I
horror.
just
I would
can't.
say horror.
Okay, not a horror guy.
Yeah. Because I haven't really gotten into them. Um, I mean, I've seen like the big boys, Jason,
Freddie,
Freddy,
Michael,
Myers, you know what I mean? Um,
got you.
but nothing
Yeah,
that
no,
really made me want to go see one.
yeah. Because the
And
only
it
thing
was
you have on here is Adam's Family. That's
right,
kind of
which is a
close to
dark
it.
comedy. You know what I mean? It's not
Yeah.
even, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
And this one's probably gonna be hard. That's the
Okay.
last question. What's the first movie you watched?
You're right about that. The first movie I watched? Okay. Y'all know who Tisha Campbell is?
Yeah, of course.
Well, she did this thing when she was a little girl. Before I was born.
Mm.
But it's called Unicorn Tales.
Let me see if I can look it up. Corn.
And this was recently a memory unlocked for me because it got to the point where sorry. It got to the point where I'm like, did this even happen? Did I even watch this?
he said, did this even is it this?
No.
No.
Wait,
Okay.
hold on. It's
97 maybe.
Because this was like 1970s.
This one came out. The one that's showing is 1977.
That one. Yes. Unicorn Tales. That's it. That's the one. I spelled it wrong. If you type in Unicorn Tales, you're gonna get a lot of unicorn stuff. But no, not this one. That's not even it. That's it like that one. Whoa, scroll up. Like all these pictures that you're seeing, right? Like her right there. Yep, that one. And that's even a scene I
Okay.
remember. So what this was, and I call it a movie, but what it really is a collection of stories for children. So this was
Okay.
like a Alice in Wonderland thing. She didn't want to like learn and it's a musical too. But then I guess she learns the value of whatever. And then if you scroll down, the picture right underneath with all those balloons. I remember that well. Like I think that's the cover.
Gotcha.
So it's pretty much like there's like a Pinocchio one where he's in America for the first time and he's not a wooden boy or anything. It's just it was weird. 1970s.
It looks like it's called the Magnificent Major.
The
and the Unicorn
Magnificent
Tales
Major. So I think that
was
is the
part of it.
story they're telling, right?
Yeah.
But it's more like a
Interesting.
Alice in Wonderland thing. So this is the first thing I remember actually watching.
Wow. And that was her acting debut.
Yep.
Oh, wow. That is amazing. Let me see if anybody said anything here that I need to respond to. He was a great movie. No one's knowing about that movie. Everyone was kung fu fighting. What dream may come in deep and super underrated?
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen that whole movie. It was Cuban Gooding Jr. in it too.
Yep.
About Barry's daughter. I grew up with her. What's her number? Shut up, Kal-El.
Wow.
He's talking about the Kiersey Clements. He said that he thinks you like the Scream movies if you haven't seen them yet.
I have seen Scream. So, like, guys, it's not that I haven't seen any horror. That's just one of the genres that I'm not, drawn to as much, right?
Yeah.
But I have seen Scream. I've seen them all. Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw a video online with her in that role. Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, when it was her kid.
Yep.
And then there were some questions here.
Education. I saw that on TikTok recently.
Have you seen? He wanted to know what was your rap name.
So I changed it once, but at first it was J Prof. It was like J Prophet, and then it was Prophet MC.
Nice. Toxic Gamer had
I still got my stuff up on a channel. I'm gonna share it with the movie tubers first, and then if we want to do something, then y'all can hear it. But I think some of them are kind of dope, actually. I'm not gonna lie.
Yup, we got it. It's happening now that you said that.
I'm gonna send you. I sent something to Ken. He didn't respond, so I don't know what that meant.
He was like, "Yeah, I'm not even gonna tell you how I feel about this." So Toxic Gamer says, out of Migration, Aquaman, the Iron Claw, what would be the order you guys would see the movies? You can go first.
Yeah, I think I would see Iron Claw, Aquaman, and then Migration, because I hear Iron Claw's a downer. It's kind of sad. Then Aquaman, I'm kind of seeing how they end the DC EU.
Yeah.
And then Migration, it's a kids movie that I'm not excited to see, but I might take my kids to see it. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Personally
for me, right now I'm trying to see Aquaman and Iron Claw this Friday because I took off for like the Christmas holiday. Iron Claw is not going to be in the theater that I usually go to, so I'm still trying to figure out how that's going to work. If I could see one and then run and go see the other one. So I'm trying to figure that out. But I want to see Iron Claw first because it's such a sad movie, and then see Aquaman because that's going to be more fun. Even though based on the rumors I'm hearing, there's going to be some wild in that movie with kids and stuff like that. But I still feel like it's going to be a happier movie than Iron Claw.
Yeah,
because it's still a fantasy film. Iron Claw is based on a true story. I'm a wrestling fan, so like emotional attachment to this. Like I know about the Von Erichs for years now. Like I knew about this story, but this is going to be more in detail than anything I've seen before. So, and everybody, if Kenny Sparks, who's on this live stream for a while, he just dropped a review He says a very heavy film.
Wow.
Everybody I've seen review this movie said this film is very, very heavy. So I'm excited. And it's A24. Come on. You know what I mean? Like,
so you
that's
already
my guy.
know.
I'm going to try to do a ranking for all A24 films that came out this year. Said also, doesn't the Beekeeper look like a lot of yeah. Have you seen the trailer for Beekeeper with Jason Statham?
Not yet.
Yeah, so like he's like this, you know, one of those assassins that you don't think you don't understand that he's an assassin kind of guys.
Yeah.
And the Beekeeper is not like actual beekeepers, it's like a network of bees that control the stuff that's going on behind the scenes. And I think they do something to him and he has to go take them out. It looked pretty cool.
Wow.
Hey, Poppin' the Popcorn, what's up?
Hey, Poppin'. What's up? Wow.
Coming at the end. I'm hyped for Beekeeper. Yeah, so yeah, it looks pretty good. It's coming out at I think of February. So
I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah. But this has been really fun. Jason, I'm really glad to have you finally on the stream. I was like, yeah, me and him have never done a one-on-one stream before, and this was amazing. I want to say this, and no offense to anyone that I've had on the stream before. This is my favorite movies that made us that I've done so far.
Oh, thanks, man. Wow.
You articulate your thoughts really well. You understood the assignment, understand the themes and what I want to do when I do this stream, and you really pulled and you like dropped some really great quotes, and you had movies I've never heard of. A lot of times it's like, oh yeah, I know that movie, I've heard this, but you drop some stuff in there, I'm like, oh, and it made it really interesting to watch. So I really appreciate you for coming on, for one. And obviously we're going to work together soon again, because we're going to be doing that end of the year video with the rest of the movie tubers. And I really appreciate sharing those personal stories as well, because you definitely didn't have to do that, but it really added to everything because you tie it to your family. And I guess you can't even talk about the movies without tying it with your family.
Exactly.
It's just there, you know, those memories. And I vote from that time you did that stream with Kenny. I was like, this guy's one of the most interesting men in the world. And this stream just proves it with everything you've talked about, with the variety of films that you love, which talks to me because that's how I am too. I love multiple genres. I love different types of movies, and I love different levels of movies. Like I always understand what I'm watching, like, which I think a lot of people don't. Like when I'm watching Fast and Furious, I have a different expectation than when I'm watching Mission Impossible.
Exactly. Come on, man. Yes. Because they're different.
Like I can watch Fast X and enjoy it, but then watch Mission Impossible 7 and enjoy it in a different way.
Right. Exactly.
Like that's the gentleman's Fast X. You know what I mean?
Yes. Right.
So, and I feel like you feel the same exact way. That's why you agree. So this has been amazing. I'm going to zoom in on you real quick so you could talk to the people about the channel, what you have coming up soon, and what your goals are going into 2024.
Sure. Guys, thank you so much just for listening to my life and the movies that kind of influenced me. Moving into 2024, I'm definitely trying to do more in terms of YouTube. I'm a busy man, but, you know, where I can. I think that what doing YouTube and making the channel for Screen Zen has taught me is that I have it deep down within me. And, you know, sometimes it teaches me that I have to pull it out of myself, whether it's doing the work of editing, recording when I'm dead tired and I have to work the next day and get the kids up and all, whatever. There's no excuse for, you know, doing what you love. And I think that, you know, moving into 2024, I want to definitely bring a consistency to Screen Zen. We've been growing, and I thank you for all the new subscribers, definitely. But I'm looking to continue on with the reviews, continue on with the trailer reactions, and giving you a little bit more, probably starting segments that deal with movies that I enjoyed in my life, and giving you that in a new, interactive, possibly, you know, live stream way, maybe. But, you know, these are just some ideas, guys. And again, thank you for everyone who's subscribed already, who just subscribed. I look forward to speaking to you all.
I muted myself and didn't realize.
There you go.
Because on this mic I have, you just tap the top.
Oh, okay. One of those.
And I didn't realize. I must have like rested my hand.
It's like, oh, I wasn't talking.
I was saying like that was beautiful. That was great as usual. I'm really excited for your channel. I'm really excited for the future. And yeah, a lot of these movies that you talked about on here can be a series where you talk about the
Right.
movies that influenced me or something like
You
that.
know
You can
what? You
call
know
that.
what? And I'm gonna be have you seen that with T? I'm like, maybe we do like a latchkey kid something, like a
Ooh, yeah.
latchkey series or something. I'm just right now, just thinking about it. I'm like, that could
Yeah.
work.
That could work, man. Yeah, so that makes sense. So if you're excited for all this stuff, if you really enjoyed him on this stream, definitely subscribe to him, subscribe to his channel, support him. Great guy as usual. Talk to him every day.
Yeah, pretty much.
Basically,
Pretty much. Yeah.
this is my guy. So guys, this was great. I'm gonna. Oh no, Lawrence report. We're heading out.
Oh, you missed it. You got to rewind.
You
There
got
was
to
a lot of
watch the
good stuff.
replay. I appreciate you jumping on, man. I hope
But I'm
you had a
glad you're here.
great
Yep.
night. And like Toxic
Glad
Gamer
you're here.
said, he's going to see Iron Claw, and he said he had a great time getting to know you a little better and everyone, and have a good night. He said Tisha Campbell was a legend, so he must have been watching this whole
He must have
time.
saw
Yes,
that.
that's
Yeah,
true.
yeah. Facts. Come on now. Put some respect on my name.
He said this was great. Have a good evening, gents. I appreciate that a lot, man.
See ya,
Thank you
man.
guys for tuning in. I appreciate you all. I'm gonna let this guy go because I know he's probably busy. Subscribe to his channel, and we will see you soon because I have a Wonka review coming up because I have to get that off. I saw Wonka. I'm gonna see Iron Claw. I have to follow up Attacking Zack about episode 2.
Yep.
I have my last Zack Attack news live this Tuesday for this year. And then next week, I may be doing an 800 subscribers Q&A celebration thing. We'll see. I don't like doing it right away because I easily could lose 4 people and then back to 700s.
Like 798.
I got to 804 and it went down to 802. And I was like, okay, I'm not celebrating nothing until I get to like 805, 806.
Oh, man.
But yeah, look out for all those videos. Look out for Screen Zen. This has been a great stream. Appreciate all of you. And we're going to, where's my ending screen? Where is that? Okay, we're gonna head out.
Is it the medieval one?
Oh no, not that one.
That's